So in this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to learn about something called the Google 3-pack. And the wonderful thing about the Google 3-pack is that even if you're in a super competitive industry, but you do some of the other steps that we're going to learn about through this course, then you have a fighting chance, possibility of appearing on the first page of Google through this Google 3-pack. So let's look at what a Google 3-pack is. Let's start there. So let's come to Google and let's pretend I'm looking for, and this is just hop ahead because I just had someone outside my condo wiping the windows for me, which is so nice. So let's just pretend I'm looking for somebody to clean my windows. So let's just say window cleaning service. And let's type that in and see what comes up. So the first thing we see is ads. So we know that people have to pay to be in these spots. But of course, we don't want to pay. We want to appear on Google first page without needing to pay anything, really. Okay, and so then what you have appear is this thing called the Google 3-pack. And the reason it's called the Google 3-pack is because it lists 3 businesses that Google will let appear organically, which means they haven't paid to be in these spots. And then as you can tell, the first spot is taken up by an ad as well. So you've got the ads up, 3 ads up here, then you've got 1 more in your Google My Business search, and then you've got the Google 3-pack. So our goal is to get on the Google 3-pack. So even if we're in a competitive industry, in a competitive area, we still have a possibility of showing up on the first page. And the one thing I want to tell you about that is sometimes it doesn't take any time at all. So you definitely want to get on this as quickly as possible. So what happens is Google uses all kinds of algorithms, like always, to decide who should appear in the 3-pack. So part of the things it considers mostly is something called relevance. So how relevant is the business to the search? So if I typed in window cleaning service, very likely these businesses have the phrase window cleaning service or something similar to that in their title, in their description, or somewhere, because Google wants to make that match. Okay. Next thing Google looks at is the distance. So how far are these businesses to where I'm doing my search? Now the fabulous thing about that is study after study shows that people, like a huge percentage of people, will visit a brick and mortar business within a day of searching for it on their mobile devices. And think about it, that kind of makes sense. So let's say you're, touring a new city and you're hungry. So what are you going to do? You're going to go on Google Maps and just put in, I always just write in food and see what it pulls up. And then I go and I'm hungry and I go and I eat there within a few minutes, right? So, so Google knows that. So it's very important for Google to find businesses that are local to you, because most people prefer to use businesses close to them or close to where they're searching from. So distance is the second one. The first one again is how relevant the search is, and that again is using keywords, and we'll come back to how to make your business relevant. And the third thing Google looks at is this thing called prominence, and prominence is basically almost like online, how popular your business is. So the way you show Google prominence is, let's say you have a lot of social media activity and a lot of social media followers, and they're not just followers that sit there and do nothing. They're active, engaged followers. Well, Google's gonna be like, wow, this business must be very popular. Or if you have a lot of links coming back into your site, Google might be like, oh, this business is very popular. So it's going to think that it's most important to show that business first. And there's a whole bunch of other factors as well, such as how many reviews a business has, how active they are on Google My Business, how they're doing other SEO strategies. Like all of these all work hand in hand. So it's very important just to keep in mind that you always want to do what Google wants you to do as much as you possibly can. So it's not like you just do it once and leave it type of situation. It's pretty much keeping active on all of these things that we're going to go through, and keeping on top of your SEO. And also very important to keep on top of your website. So make sure that your website is practicing all the stuff that Google likes. So it downloads the information fast. pretty much just think of it as a good user experience. So when they go to your site, is it easy to navigate? Does it all the pages download? Are all the links leading to the right places? Like all of those things that we have full control over fixing should be looked at and fixed. Okay, so that is kind of in a nutshell how you would get into this Google 3-pack. All right, so let's go ahead and just click on one of them and have a look. And I'm sure you're all familiar with how to use Google Maps, but let's just go through a couple things here. Okay, so again, what Google wants to do is show you proximity-wise how far away these businesses are, because more than likely, if it's a good business that's appearing that sounds legit, we're going to try to pick something closest to our house. Okay, then we can see the reviews, and I'm sure we've all done that as well. We would click on the reviews and read what people are saying about the business, and then we want to click on the business's website to find out more about them. And so these businesses that don't have a website, they're really doing a disservice to themselves, because you know, it's amazing. They are appearing even with only one really lousy review. Like these guys here, sorry to pick on you if you're out there, but really you're doing yourself a massive disservice by not having your website there or not going out and getting some good reviews. Like Google's already done the hard work for you and you're appearing at the top of search. So I don't know why this business wouldn't want to take those extra efforts that we're going to learn how to do through this course. Okay, so do not be this business, be this business. Okay, so we're gonna have a closer look at this business. We want to see what else they did on their listing. Okay, so they put their business hours, they put their address, they put their phone number, they put an easy click to their website. They listed some of the products they offer, and they listed some, they don't have questions and answers. So this here is the question and answer section. So we're going to come to this as well, and we're going to cover all of these in more detail. And then of course you could read their reviews, right? And trust me, people look at this stuff. Like they will read all of this stuff and look at it before they decide to use a business. So glad you're here, glad you're taking this course, because we're going to learn how to optimize your Google business profile as much as it possibly can be optimized and get you guys all ranking really well on Google My Business. Sound good? All right, so let's move on and go to the next lesson. Hey everybody, welcome to this video where I'm going to go over how to access Google Keyword Planner without needing to create a Google ad and without needing to put in your credit card. The very first thing you want to do is access your Google account. If you're not already in your Google account, simply go to accounts.google.com and just select the account you want to work with. The next step is going to the URL ads.google.com. You'll see a page that looks like this. Essentially, all you want to do is go to the upper right and click on the Start Now button. On the next page, it's going to ask you for your business name. So just go ahead, put your business name in, and then click the button on the bottom right, which says Next. On this page, you want to put your website URL. And I just want you to know that you can put in the URL of your home page, any page on your website, or even any of your landing pages. So go ahead, enter that, and then click the Next button. On this page here, essentially Google's just showing you a preview of the page that you entered the URL for. So go ahead, just look that over. You could view it in mobile or desktop, doesn't matter. And go ahead and click the Next button. And this is where the magic happens, because I really want you to get this part right. So I want you to ignore everything and all the options you see on this page, except where I pointed the arrows. That's the only part I want you to look at, where it says Switch to Expert Mode. Go ahead and click where it says Switch to Expert Mode. Now this page could also be a little bit tempting because there's lots of things to look at and lots of things you might want to click on, but please do not. We do not want to start that Google ad. So all you're going to do is ignore everything. You're going to go to the bottom left and you're going to click where it says Create an Account Without a Campaign. And there you have it. You've successfully created your Google Ads account without needing to start a Google ad. Yay! So don't go away yet. I still need to show you how to access your Google Keyword Planner. So what you want to do now is click where it says Explore Your Account. So go ahead and click that. Now on this page, you are going to have to enter some information, but that's okay. Don't worry, this will not start up your Google ad. This is just something that Google will keep just in case in future you decide to give Google Ads a go. So go ahead, fill out your billing country, your currency, your time zone. That's it. When you're done, go ahead and click that blue button that says submit. Now on this page, you're actually on the back end of your brand new Google Ads account, which is great. So you've got a few options, but we want more options because in this view, you will not be able to access Google Keyword Planner. So we're going to take one more step. We're almost there. So what you're going to do is click on that wrench that says settings. It's going to give you a drop-down menu, and you're going to click on the very last choice, which says switch to expert mode. And now you can see that your view changes and you've got a lot more options. So what you're going to do is head over to that wrench symbol again. And now instead of saying settings, it says, what does it say? It says tools and settings. And then it's going to give you a whole bunch of different things to look at. So you could go back in there and check out all those other tools at some other point. But right now, we just want to access that Keyword Planner. So go ahead and click on Keyword Planner. All right, so this lesson's pretty exciting because this is where we're going to start getting to know and discover what our keywords are. This is just one tool that we're going to be using. There are different tools you can use to get in deeper with your keywords, but we just want to know right now, generic, just kind of overall, what our main keyword focuses are going to be. Okay, so in order to do that, we're going to go into something called Google Keyword Planner. And in order to use Google Keyword Planner, you will need a Google Ads account. So you would just go to ads.google.com and set up your ads account from there. Okay, but once you can access it, you're going to go in this thing here called Keyword Planner and just go to Keyword Planner. And then all you need to do is click on Discover New Keywords. So from here, you pretty much can enter your keyword or you can enter a URL. I just want to make that note that you can enter a URL because it doesn't need to be your own URL, which is fantastic because yes, you can put your competitor's URL in there. So if you have a competitor that's doing really, really well online, go ahead, pop in their URL and see what comes up, which is always a fun thing to do. But for now, we're going to just put in a very general broad idea of what our industry is. So this is not the place to get too specific. Keep it generalized and broad and let Google start telling you and making suggestions of where you should be going with your keyword. Okay, so let's say my business, how about we do a spa, right? Spas are very, very popular. So and very competitive too, I should say. So let's say I have a spa that specializes in like facials or something, and my spa is located in Toronto. So again, I'm keeping it broad. So I'm going to put in, actually, I'm just going to keep it at spa. Let's just keep it spa, and I'm going to say get results. And then Google, what it's going to do is within seconds, it's going to bring me up in different types of ways. People are searching for a spa, and then it's going to split it up into average monthly searches like this from highest to lowest. And if you want, you could click on this and make it lowest to highest, but I don't know why you would want to do that. You definitely always want to see it from the highest to lowest. Then it tells you what the competition is like in general. Is it low competition, medium competition, or high competition? You would only worry about this if you were going to pay for ads, because obviously if it's high competition, you are going to pay higher for ads. But if you're not going to use it for ad purposes, so for our purposes, we're using it to find the general keywords we want to start using within our profile on Google My Business. So in that case, it's nice to go after you find anything that's highly competitive because it tells you that when people see the word that they're actually converting on the word. So not only are they searching by the word, but they're actually taking action and buying stuff off of that word. So if we could find a word that has got lots of monthly searches and high competition, that's pretty bonus. But if not, even if it just has a huge number of monthly searches, that is definitely a safe keyword to use. And then basically up here, it's giving you some suggestions of other categories you can start searching under as well. The one thing I want to mention is that Google does well at finding related keywords to whatever you pop in, but it doesn't do so well thinking outside the box for you. So when you want to start getting more specific, like let's say my spa offers services for people with acne, right? Google probably won't be searching specifically for that. So then I would want to go in and change this and go in a little bit more specific and then see what Google comes up for me. But basically all we're looking for is the hottest trending words. So the very, very first thing you should do though is come up here so where it says location, and you want to click on that and you want to change your location. So you don't want to keep it like it. So I'm not going to keep it as Canada unless, you know, I offer my service to all of Canada, but even then that's just too broad. But you don't want to also be too specific. So think of the geographic area you're in. So if I'm in Toronto, I'm just going to keep it at Toronto because I want to know how people are searching for spas in Toronto and see how Google goes ahead and captures all those little underlining areas around Toronto for me, which is super great. But if I was a spa in Mississauga or a spa, you know, north of, like way up north or something, then I would enter you know, different types of location because people will probably be using different types of keywords in order to find that service. Okay, so for now I'm just going to keep it in Toronto and let just Google change all of this for me, and there we go. Okay, so let's come back over here. So one of the things that Google do is tell you if the competition's low, medium, or high. And essentially, if it's high competition, what that usually indicates is that people are converting off that keyword. So if you find a word with a lot of traffic and high competition, it means there's a lot of people going, a lot of people purchasing whatever they see. And that's why there's high competition, because your competitors will only spend money on words that are bringing them in traffic. So that's always really nice. Unless you're going to be doing paid ads, then high competition also means that you'll be paying more for that specific keyword. But for our purposes, we're using the keyword in our Google My Business profile, which means we should use the strong keywords. But we are first going to look at the average monthly searches. So if something has a ton of traffic, I'm going to use that even though it has low competition. But if I had lots of options of things with high monthly traffic, but also had one of them had high competition, then I would use that keyword first, if and only if it's a good keyword for you. Because as you go through, you might see that what Google's bringing up is not exactly a keyword that fits what you do. And in that case, like Turkish bath. So if my spa doesn't offer a Turkish bath, then obviously even if it was a good keyword, I wouldn't go ahead and use it. And then basically just start making notes. So I'll be like, okay, so spa is a good word to use, obviously. People look for massage near me. So if I was a spa that specialized in massage services, then my keyword would be massage near me, which is totally in line with Google My Business. So that's perfect because that's how people do searches on Google My Business oftentimes. Okay, and then you can see a lot of times it'll start bringing up competitors because this is what Google is just looking for what's trending under the general keyword category of spa. So you would just start making notes and you just kind of go through. So it can get a little tedious, especially when you start doing this for a few keywords, but it's essential and very, very important exercise. Okay, so I would start off by picking the hottest keywords, and then of course the 1,000 to 10,000 category, and then start looking at the 100 to 1,000 per month searches in all of Toronto. I would use these guys more for like if I was writing a blog post and nothing up here would fit my category, then I would go into this category. But to use as your main keywords, you definitely want to stick between 1,000 and 10,000 searches per month, or 10,000 and 100,000 is excellent, and anything above that is super. So the more, the better is all I'm trying to say, especially if you're in a very populated city. If you're in a smaller town and you start doing, I mean, if you're in a small town and there's 100 to 1,000 searches per month on a keyword, it's still probably a good keyword to go after. So then one of the other things you want to do is look at how to broaden your search. So let's look at these categories that Google gave me, and if any of them apply, I could go ahead and click on that as well. Okay, so then what I would do is I would go back up here. Then I would put in something that's even a little bit more specific. So let's say my spa just sells skincare products. So I would just type in skincare and I would say get results. And then I would go through the little exercise again and see what Google is pulling up as the most popular search terms that relate to skincare. And look, a lot of these are high competition, which means people, when they see these words, they're actually making conversions. So they're probably actively purchasing from these keywords. So again, I'd be like, well, hot diggity, look at all of these, highly converting words, which is super, super awesome, right? And then I would start making some more notes on that and then deciding what best fits my business and go from there. Okay? So pretty much in a nutshell, this is how you use Google Keyword Planner in order to discover your keywords. All right, so hold on. Before you go, I want to show you just one other really cool feature that you can find in Google Keyword Planner. Okay, so as you know, when you come here, it defaults to showing you the keyword, and then you could sort it by the average monthly searches. And then it also shows you the competition, whether it's low, medium, or high. So that's all well and dandy. However, there's a couple other columns that I would like to look at. And what those columns are, it basically will show you people's bids. So what people are bidding on the low side and what people are bidding on the high side per the keyword. The way you would use that, so again, as I mentioned, if something has high competition, it means that the competition has already discovered that that keyword is associated with people actually making a purchase decision, because otherwise, why would there be a lot of competition on it? So let's think about it. It's like a whole bunch of your competitors have already done the research and they said, okay, we are putting money on this. So if it's high competition, it means skincare. We're putting money on it, because when we use skincare as a keyword, we're not only getting high traffic, but we're getting people who are actually making monetary decisions based on that keyword. Same with moisturizer, same with exfoliator, same with Best Eye Cream, and so on, right? So again, ideally, it would be so cool to find one, and I'm sorry I keep repeating this, I just really want you to get it because it's important for any marketing you do. If you find a keyword that is got lots of traffic and high competition, it's score. But let's say, look, these have all got high traffic and they all got high competition. If you're deciding, if you only could choose one, well, actually you can only choose one main keyword per page on your website or per article you're writing. And let's say you're not sure which one to go with. Well, I'm going to show you a way you can discover that. So what you're going to do is come up here to something called columns. You're going to click on it and you're going to click on modify columns. And the two columns that I want to add are something called top of bid, high range or low range, and top of bid, high range. And then I'm going to hit apply. And it's going to pull that up on my columns. So again, if I'm deciding between the first three, now I can look over here and say, well, how high are people willing to put money down on it? How much money? So if we look over here on the far right, high range, people go up to $4.41 on this one, $5.70 on this one, $5.13 on this one. So it's not a drastic difference. So of course I would go with whatever makes more business sense with you. But if you don't really care and you want to promote them all, then start off with the one with the highest bid. Because if people are willing to put a lot of money on something, it means again that more people are converting on it. Because Why else would they be willing to put that much money on it, right? So the you can use this in any of your marketing, and you should use this in any of your marketing. The only time where it's going to hurt you is if you're actually paying for ads, because it means to go after that keyword, you're going to have to pay a lot more money for it as well, because your competition is driving the cost of it up. So I hope that makes sense, but let me think of it in terms of I don't know. Let's make it easy. Let's pretend. Do you remember those good old fashioned auctions, and people would be up there and they'd hold something up, and if you wanted it, you would just people just keep yelling out $2, $3, $4, and people would just keep going up and up and up and up. It's like, how high are people willing to go on something that they think is that valuable? And Google is kind of giving you a generalized overview of everyone out there who's in that geographic area, who's looking at these keywords, how high are they willing to go? So if that's a good number, you can bet assured that that's a good converting keyword. And again, conversions means people are willing to put money on it. Okay, so I would, if I wanted to push something with skincare and moisturizer and exfoliators, if I was a spa, then I would start off with this one. It's $5.70 for moisturizer. I would do that keyword first, and then I would do something promoting exfoliators, and then I would do something promoting skincare, or I would put that in that order if I was listing my services on my description for Google My Business. All right, so that's a super valuable tip. I know it might not sound like it, but trust me, it's a super, super valuable tip that you can use in any of your marketing. So you guys go ahead, try it, test it out. Let me know what kind of results you're going to get, and I will see you on the next lesson. This lesson is very important because it's all about Google My Business categories. And I know the steps in it will really help you not only to understand categories better, but help you in selecting the best categories for your business to help you rank. When you pick a business category, you will pick one main category and then up to 9 related categories. And I say related because you want your other categories to support that main category you chose. This part is really important to get right because the main category you choose will have the biggest impact in how you rank on local searches. So my first tip for you is to regularly test your categories. And what I mean by that is basically what you want to do is go with what you think your best main category is going to be, then maybe test it for a month. And then in the second month, what you want to do is pick another main category and see how that one does. And what you're going to compare is the type of traffic you're getting in, the types of services people are asking you for. And absolutely what you want to test is the numbers. How many numbers came off of category number 1? How many came off of category number 2? And in a later lesson, what I'll do is I'll actually show you how you could view your analytics, and you could view the number of search views that you're getting based on your category. My second tip for you is to make sure that you choose categories that have a lot of search volume and preferably that have lower competition. So remember we did that keyword research where we looked at exactly those things. So this is where you're definitely going to want to reference your keyword research when you're selecting your main category and when you're selecting your other categories. Tip 3 is choosing the magic number of categories, because you're allowed to choose up to 10 categories, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you should. So most important is choosing your main category. And then what you're going to do is use your other category selections to support what you said your main category was. And don't worry, we'll go over some examples so this is clearer. But what I want you to understand is if you choose more than a few extra categories, it might not only confuse Google as to what your primary businesses or what your types of services actually are, but it could confuse the viewer, and you definitely don't want to confuse them because they could be potential customers. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is I'm sorry, there's actually no magic number. But what the magic formula is choosing the right main category and just enough of the extra supporting categories that are going to help you get the best results. So tip number 4 is basically don't select your main category or your subcategories until you know what all your options are. Because the last thing you want to do is pick something thinking is your best option, and then you find something that could have been a better option, and you might have missed out on all that business otherwise. So let me go ahead and show you how to pull up a list of all your available categories and how I would suggest using it. It's really important for you to know what the categories actually are, because the last thing you want to do is miss a category that could be very fitting for the profit of your business. So you want to think about your main category, but you also want to think about the other things that you sell that are money makers for you that fit under your main category. So we're going to just use a very general search to figure out what the categories are, and then I'll show you how to use that to start getting ideas of what could work for your business. So all you're going to do is come up to Google, and under Google you're going to type something like Google My Business Categories for 2022. And basically just pick something that shows the categories here. Complete list 2022. Sounds good. And then all you're going to do is just scroll down until you see the categories. So here are all the categories. Look at them. It's crazy, right? There are many, many, many categories. And Google's changing this and adding to it all the time. So that's why it's a very good idea to always be on top of what your main category is. Always do testing, switch out your main category every once in a while with something else and see what happens, and then go ahead and keep checking Google's list to see what the new options are, because Google wants this to be as user-friendly as possible, and Google really wants to understand what your business is, and Google really wants viewers to understand what your business is and what your business does and what it specializes in. So let's use this list, and let's pretend we're an Asian grocery store. It just comes to mind because I just did some work for some Asian grocery stores, which was a lot of fun and different for me. So I'll just show you how that would work. So the best way to use this, instead of scrolling through all, like, I think there's over 3,000 or 4,000 options of categories, and you definitely don't want to go through that one by one. So the best way to use it is if you're on a Mac, do Command F, and if you're in Windows, do I think it's Control F. Okay, and that brings up your search bar or search tool. And so here, grocery. If I was again Asian grocery store, so I'm going to start with grocery store and see what comes up. So there's 10 options for grocery store. So Asian grocery store is number 1. Okay, gourmet grocery store in general, Indian grocery store, Italian grocery store, Japanese grocery store, Korean grocery store, kosher grocery store, and Mexican grocery store. So let's say, okay, so the client I dealt with was primarily an Asian grocery store, and almost everything in their shop, everything in their shop was pretty much Asian cuisine and Asian catered to the Asian community for groceries. So what I would do in this case is choose Asian grocery store as a main category, and then general grocery store as a other category, but it wouldn't be my main category. Now, for example, if this Asian grocery store also sold other types of groceries, and maybe the Asian section was just a smaller section within their grocery store, well, then grocery store would be the main category, and then Asian grocery store would be a category under that. And I shouldn't really say under that. It's just your second category. It wouldn't be your main category. It would just be your next choice for category. And maybe that grocery store was very ethnic and also catered to some of these other cuisines we saw. Like I think there was the Indian grocery store. So they could list that as a subcategory, or an Italian grocery store, because if they have those subsections within their main grocery store, and depending on the area that they're trying to sell to, these might be really good subcategories. So what you would want to do is make a list of the main category that best describes in general what your business is, then choose all your other categories that will help cater to all the other services you offer within that, and just make your list. And again, before you finalize your list, our next step will be looking at your top competitors to see what they're doing and to get some ideas from them. So right now you're just making a list. Let's say you do accounting. So I type in the word accounting, and here there's 3 things that come up. So accounting firm, accounting school, and accounting software company. And then there's accountant. So if I'm an accountant and I work on my own, I might want to choose that as a category and just really, in my description, everything, really talk about the one-on-one service that people are going to get. If I'm an accounting firm, though, I would list that as the main category and then list all the other services within that, because maybe you do accounting as a service, but you also do bookkeeping as a service, or anything related underneath that. Okay, so this is when your keyword research comes in really, really handy, because this is where you're going to start trying to find other things that describe your business. Because like I just typed in accounting, but I'm like, oh yeah, accountant fits under that, but I would know that if I had my keyword list. So you definitely just want to spend some time at this and make sure you're not missing out on anything. I'm going to do one more. So if I'm in marketing, which I am, so I can type in marketing, and there's internet marketing services, there's a marketing agency services, marketing consultant services, and I'm not sure which one would fit best with what I do, because I offer a wide range of marketing services. So in this case, I would write them all down as options, and then I would go into my competition and see, specifically in the area I'm targeting, and see what they're doing and see what my top competitors are doing, especially, and model what they're doing. Okay, so we'll get into how to do that next. My final tip for you for this lesson is I really want you to check out the top categories of your top competitors. And if you're not quite sure where your top competitors are, you're just going to simply type in what your niche is, and your city or your area, and see who comes up. And basically what you're going to do is model the best people that are out there. And you want to check what their main categories are. And what I'm going to do is show you a tool right now that is going to make this job so much easier. It's always a good idea to model what's working best in your industry. So what we're going to do is find a tool that's going to help us do that. Because what happens is right now, let's have a look. Let's go to maps, and let's say you are in the dental industry. So we're going to go into let's just do dentist near me, something like that. And what you'll notice is always the top spots are for the ads. So you can see it says ads. So just what you want to do is always look at who's ranking organically. So forget about the ads for now and look at what else comes up for things in your area, your neighborhood. The other thing you do is put like dentist, if you're in the dental category, of course, and put in dentist and then put in the city, or whatever area you're trying to get customers from. Okay, so from here, what you can see is here, that's the category. So this person is coming up first on organic search and coming up in the broad category of dentist. This one's coming up in dentist, as you can see, most of them are coming up. This one actually, it chose the category dental clinic. Let's see what else we've got. Dentist, and then we've got something called an orthodontist, and basically you can tell that, they don't have that many reviews compared to some of the other ones. So here again, this is a really great example. If you are in the dental industry and you specialize in being an orthodontist and that's all you do, then it's absolutely a great idea that orthodontist is your primary and main category. Or maybe that's the only type of new business you want, so you would only put that out as your main category. If, however, you're a dental office or a dental clinic and you also offer orthodontist services, it makes more sense to put a broader category of dental and then choose orthodontist as one of your subcategories under that. So the other reason I wanted to show this to you is because I want to just point out that doing a regular search, you're going to get the main categories, okay? And that's great because we want to know what the main categories are, and that'll help us in our selection of our main category. But you also want to have a peek at what other categories these businesses that are competing with you are trying to rank for. And that's not only to give you a hint on what other categories you want to choose, but that's going to give you a hint on how many other categories you should be aiming for. So it's a good idea to see what the top people are doing, and then just kind of see the people that are ranking not so well, what they're doing, and start to get a feel for what exactly is going to work in your industry. So now I'm going to show you this really cool tool that's going to let you see those other categories very easily. But in order to do that, I just want to point out that you should be using Google Chrome in order to get extensions. I'm not so sure if you're using other browsers what a similar extension would be, but right now I'm just going to show you, because most people will be using Google Chrome, and I'm just going to show you how to do this with Google Chrome. Okay, so you're going to grab an extension. So if you don't know how to grab extensions, what you want to do, make sure you're signed into your Google account. Then you're going to click on Update, and you're going to scroll down to More Tools. Then you're going to come across to Extensions. So what you're going to want to do once you get to extensions, to get a new extension, you're going to click here under the main menu, and you're going to go to Open Chrome Store. Okay, and from here, we're going to find a tool called GMB Everywhere. So you're just going to type GMB, and then you're going to type in the word everywhere like that. Okay, and there it is. So GMB Everywhere, and you can see it says it's View GMB Categories, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now it also does some other things like GMB audits, review and audit, whatever. So you can have a look at what else this tool can do for you. But right now we just want to use it for categories. So in order to get it, you're just going to click on it, and you're going to say Add to Chrome. Then Add Extension. Give it a second. Okay, and now look what happens. Okay, so under Dentist Near Me, under the same search, what happens is it shows me the main category, but it also shows me all of these other categories that this particular dentist is listed under. And remember I said just kind of ignore the first couple, because that's usually where the ads are. We want to see what people that are ranking high without doing an ad and doing it organically, because that's what this is all about. We want to see what they're doing. Okay, so the person that comes up first in my area basically is under the category of dentist, but also chose to go into the categories of cosmetic dentists, dental hygiene, emergency dental services. Okay, so they've got one main category and 3 subcategories. Then I'm going to look at how many reviews they have, and then I'm going to look at their profile, see what else they're doing well, and just again model what's working well. But I'm going to make notes of these categories. So if I'm in the dental industry and I want to sell cosmetic dentistry and I offer that, and I want people to come to me for emergency dental services or whatever, I'll make sure now I know that those are categories available, and now I know that those are categories that I also want to add to my listing. Okay, so let's see what other people are doing. So this one here has got a lot more reviews, main category of dental, and then they've got other categories, and then again I'm like, okay, they got 5 other categories, this is what they choose, which ones best represent my business and what do I want to do. And again, you don't want to list like all 10 categories. You don't want to do that because you'll be too diluted. But if you really want to focus, if you're getting ideas from here, like, cosmetic dentistry actually can make a dentist quite a lot of extra income. So if you're in the dental industry and you offer cosmetic dentistry, you absolutely want to list that as a category. Okay, but you don't want to miss the other business. So dentist is a very good heading category to go after. And most dentists, as you can see, if you scroll down, most dentists are doing that. Now look at this dentist, okay? This dentist has only got the category of dentist and not using any subcategories, and they've only got 2 reviews, okay? Yet they're still ranking pretty high, because again, this is just my local area. It's not really huge. But it's still ranking. So there's a reason they're still ranking high, even though they're doing this poorly and this poorly. They could be doing a lot better. So for those of you who want to offer Google My Business as a service to other businesses, this would be a really good area for you to look at, because then you could just call these guys, and just say, hey, I know how you could probably get a lot more traffic to your website through Google Local Search or Google Maps. And all you would do for them is just those little things, add some more categories for them, help them get a little bit more reviews, and those two things alone would totally bump them up the ranks. So let's see what else. So just keep scrolling, just start getting ideas. And you can do this for anything. Like I just picked dentist because everyone's familiar with dentists, but I don't know if you're like a pet shop. And this time I'll put in Burlington because that's currently where I live. So I'll just put in Burlington pet shop and see what comes up. Or I guess it's pet store would be more specific, but let's see what comes under pet shop. So remember, ad. We don't want to look at the ads. We want to look at people ranking without an ad. Okay. So we look at what's coming up. We look at the number of reviews, and we look again their main category and their other categories. So they're ranking under pet store. Their main category here is pet store, pet groomer, pet supply. So again, if you're a pet store, if you offer pet grooming, if you offer pet supplies or whatever, then these are the sorts of things you want to absolutely be using as categories. Now look at this. Most places see their main category. Oh, it's here, pet supply store, pet store. Look at the ones that are doing the best. The ones that are doing the best, their main category is pet store, right? So then you come to somebody like this, and look, they've got no reviews, and their main category is pet groomer, but yet they're a pet supply store. So I don't know why they would do that unless their main service and their main money maker is pet grooming. Otherwise, definitely if they had checked out their competition, they would see that pet store is probably the best main category to be under, and then they could put pet grooming and pet supply store as different categories underneath their main category. So I hope this is making sense. I know it takes a little bit of work, but it's not, as you can tell, it's not like oodles of work. You could do this in just a few minutes. And just taking even a little bit of time in this, you're going to get a really good feel for what your main category absolutely should be, and some of the subcategories that you might not have thought of. And some of those could be really big money makers for you, because just think, if you're a pet store and you get extra people in for pet grooming, then that's extra money for you. And look at this, PetSmart. PetSmart's huge, right? And they're just listed under pet store. They're missing out. Anybody looking for pet grooming, they're missing out on those people on their Google My Business because they're not listing it. And I can tell you right now from going into PetSmart, pet grooming is a really, really big component of their business. So if anybody here knows PetSmart people, get on it. Get PetSmart. You could be doing a lot better. You guys are way ahead of the game by knowing how to do this and by using this fabulous tool, GMB Everywhere. So have some fun with that. So there you have it. It was a little bit detailed, but it's so important to get the category right for your ranking, and I want you guys all to rank well. So this lesson is probably the most important lesson in all of this course. So thank you for joining me in this lesson, and I will see you in the next lesson where we're going to learn how to bring it all together and write an amazing description that's going to pull people in. All right, I'll see you then. This lesson is very exciting because in it, I'm not only going to show you how to create a Google Maps description, but I'm going to show you how to create one that will capture your customers' attention and have them drooling over wanting to work with you. First, let's recap. So by now, you should have your main category and your other categories. You should know the local keywords that you want to rank for. You should have ideas from looking at your competition for things that you also want to promote, and also an idea of the areas you want to serve. And now that you have all of that, it's time we piece it all together to create a description that will not only let Google know what you do, what you want to offer, and who you want to offer it to in what areas, but it'll also help potential customers to take action when they see your description. So before we get to my special formula I created just for you for creating a powerful, top quality Google My Business description, I really want to urge you to please take time to do this well as you possibly can, because this could actually get you sales and make you money. Another tip that I'm going to give you is that this area, even though you get it as close to perfect as you think you possibly can, I want you to, every few weeks, come on in, change things up a bit, and then see if it improves the conversion rate to people who want to work with your business. So let's go ahead and look at the formula, and then we'll look at how to make it all come together. I've even created this convenient handout for you, so be sure to go ahead and print that and then follow along. So here are the 9 steps. Step 1, you're going to list your main category. Step 2, list 2 or 3 other categories. Step 3, you're going to highlight some sample services under those categories, or you're going to list things that fit under those categories that you want to sell more of. Step 4 is you're going to outline the city or cities that you service, and as much as possible, you're going to try to target specific neighborhoods. Step 5, you're going to add in highlights from any testimonials you've received. Step 6, you're going to add in items of importance to your customers. Step 7 is adding in what makes you unique, what makes you stand out. Step 8 is you're going to use power words that you know will resonate with your customers. So think about the words that they use often. And step 9, you're going to add an offer. So let's go ahead and see how to put this list into action. So what I want you guys to do now is have a little fun with brainstorming, because this is very, very important to helping you build an amazing description. So what you're going to do is take out a Word document or whatever you're using, or a notepad, and just start with the thought, what things do my customers mention as most important to them? So think about when you talk to your customers, what do they say is important in your type of business? So for example, I'm in marketing, and my customers always tell me it's super important in marketing to have somebody they could trust, because I cannot believe how many customers I've talked to who have had problems in the past with marketing agencies or marketing teams who have taken their information and passwords and done horrible things, or not giving them access to their own material. It's awful, and I'm sure it happens in every industry. So trust is a super important thing in my industry. But what is it for your industry? What do you hear your customers ask for? What do you hear their pain points as? What kind of questions do they ask you before they make the decision to work with you? These are all of the things that you're going to start listing. So I'm going to give you a few examples just to get you started, but this is very brief. This is a very small list, and I want you guys to do your due diligence and do a lot better job than this, okay? So this is just to get you going, and this, we're going to use an example of a pizza shop. So what would be the most important things to customers who are looking for a pizza shop? So let's go ahead and let's get started. So the first thing I thought of that would be the most important for customers looking for a pizza shop is, of course, fast delivery. Next, I know personally when I'm shopping for a pizza shop, which I don't eat very often, but when I do, I really enjoy it. But what's really important to me is quality and fresh ingredients, because, well, I'm sure we've all had experiences with pizza shops who do not use fresh ingredients, and well, that's just not a pleasant experience, right? Something else I thought would be important to people looking for pizza is maybe, depending on the neighborhood, premium or exclusive, like exclusive ingredients that other pizza shops don't offer, premium type services, just something like that, if that's important to your neighborhood. Friendly service is, of course, a very important for, almost any business you deal with. And again, based on the neighborhood, these sorts of things can be important if you offer vegan options or vegetarian options or organic options. Another example is locally sourced ingredients. People love supporting their local farmers and their local communities. So, if you only use locally sourced ingredients, it's definitely something to highlight. Another thing that is important, as I mentioned, was businesses that people can trust. So, if you, again, are a pizza shop, people want to make sure they can go there and not get sick. People want to make sure that they can trust your food and your quality and your cleanliness and what you're offering them. And finally, this is something that's really big to me when I'm looking for local businesses. I like to use local businesses that give back to their local communities. So if you do that, definitely something you want to highlight. So as I mentioned, this is just a few options, and you're going to go ahead and you're going to just keep going with this list. All right, so hope that gives you some ideas at least to get you started. For your next exercise, I want you to take on another blank sheet and I want you to write on it, what makes my business stand out? And you can see examples in that handout I gave you as well, but let's just go through them together here. So what are the things that make your business stand out? What are the things that make you unique? Why are you different from your competitors that offer the same thing? So the first thing I'm going to go with is number of years in business. Because, I mean, if somebody was in business for 1 year doing something and somebody was in business 50 years doing something, who do you think might have a little bit more experience with that thing, right? So a number of years, if you've got an impressive number of years that you've been in business, absolutely you want to list that. Another thing that could be very impressive or very helpful or very important to potential customers is what your credentials are. So for myself, I offer marketing services. So it could, not to all customers, but it could be very important to some customers to know that I have a marketing background and a journalism background and a public relations background, because these things and credentials are things that other marketers don't have in their background, and that could set me apart. So if I say to a customer, this press release will really raise your search engine optimization and your ranking with Google if you do a press release, and I know how to do press releases because I have a PR background, customers going to be like, oh, that's a fabulous added bonus. So that's really going to help me to highlight my credential in that example. The other thing that could help your company stand out is by mentioning the credentials of your other staff. So you can mention their credentials, their experience, their backgrounds, examples of files they've worked on, examples of files you've worked on, case studies, all of that. It's all wonderful stuff. Okay, so you want to definitely, this is your time to start basically shining for yourself and just looking at all those things that really make you powerful in what you do. So don't be shy here, guys. So you're also going to think about any awards you've received, especially if it's part of the community, some type of community award, and type of industry award. So, if you're in the food industry and you got some type of prestigious food industry award, absolutely, you definitely want to list those things in there. If your company has ever received any media mentions, either from local media or global wide media or whatever, if you're so fortunate, those are the types of things, again, that make you stand out. So people trust the media. If they say that you're great, well, hey, that's enough for a lot of people. If you've served a lot of customers, that's definitely something you want to highlight, especially, again, if it's going to make you stand out for your competitors. Because if you've served hundreds or thousands of customers in your industry and someone else is just starting off and has only served a few, again, when people are comparing who to use, this is really, really going to make a difference for a lot of people. Because obviously, if someone served a lot of customers, it means that customers really like them and keep going to them for some reason. So they don't want to miss out. They want to be part of that. Another thing that you want to highlight is if you make it easy for customers to order either on your website or your mobile app or mobile applications or messenger or whatever you're using, but if you make the ordering process easy for customers like that, people love to buy. And if they want to buy your thing, oh my goodness, do everything you can to make it like a one-stop, they got it type of thing, because people love that. And if you offer that, highlight it. This one's a no-brainer. You absolutely, of course, always want to offer stellar, excellent service. And finally, if you offer any type of personalized customer experiences type of thing, absolutely you want to highlight it as well. People love feeling special. They love feeling that they're getting all the attention. They love feeling like they're your number one customer, right? So for example, on my profile, I offer a VIP day. I definitely put that in my profile because people love the VIP days, because that gives people that personalized touch experience. So people really like that. And there you have it. So again, just a few examples, but I just want to get you going. I just want this to be a kickstart for you. And you guys, I want you to fill out this entire page for yourself. I just want you to keep going with this. What makes you stand out? What is great about your business? Who has mentioned you? Where have they mentioned you? this is, again, a place not to be shy. This is the place where you absolutely want to stand out, where you want to shine, and you're going to take all of this brainstorming you did from this sheet, you're going to take all the brainstorming you did from your other sheet, and let's go ahead and see how we're going to put it all together. Okay, so your first step in the 9-step formula is to list your main category. So I went ahead, did some research, and this is the best category for a pizza place. So step 2 is you're going to list the other categories that you want your business listed under. So in this case, we're going to go with pizza delivery, fast food restaurant, and pizza takeaway. So in step 3, you want to list some services that you offer under those categories, or you want to highlight something that's popular that you want to sell more of. So in this case, I want to sell more family value packs or catering services, because that would make my pizzeria, if I had one, more money. So in step 4, you want to list a city or cities that you service, or specific neighborhoods that you offer services to. So for my pretend pizza restaurant, I'm going to set up shop in this trending neighborhood in Toronto called Rosesville. So let me just show you what that would look like. So Toronto Rosesville Village, and people in that area actually call it Roncy, because I guess it's easier to pronounce. And it just shows that you're in with that neighborhood if you use that word. So I put that there. It's also near High Park. It's got a high Polish community. It's got Little Portugal. People in it love coffee and baked goods, but it's also filled with health conscious people. There's also fresh food stands around, farmers markets. Everybody is very community oriented, and majority of people are really big on fitness. And I discovered all this by literally doing a super quick Google search. So it's really important to really understand the neighborhoods where you want to offer business. So in step 5, all you're going to do is just write in anything to do with any reviews or testimonials you've got, or any highlights from that. So in this case, what I did is I pretended that this pizza shop has been around for a while. It has over 2,000 5-star reviews. So I'm like, wow, that would be amazing to have. So definitely they would want to, highlight that. And one of the comments they typically get is, it feels like a pizza shop with a heart. So I thought that would be really important to put in as well. And in step 6, you want to write in items of importance to your customers. And we're going to get into a little exercise on how to do this a bit better. But I put in, for this pizza shop, they discovered that for their customers, fast delivery is very important, quality and fresh ingredients is really important, friendly staff, and a business that supports the local community. And in step 7, what you want to do is put in what makes you unique. What makes your business stand out from the other businesses that offer the exact same thing? So in my pretend pizza shop, I put down, we've been in business for over 40 years. We're local media award winner for pizza 3 years in a row. And we've served over 10,000 customers. In step 8, what you want to do is add in power words that will resonate with your customers. So for this pretend pizza shop, I put in words like fun, trending, value, cozy, historic, affordable, family, leading, organic, and things like that. And step 9, all you're going to do is give them an offer. So you've already welcomed them, you've already given them lots of reasons to try you out. Now just giving them one more little push to make sure that they give you a try. So, give them a little, people love little promotions and incentives. It takes down some of the risk factor. And it's also, people don't like missing out on good deals. So in this case, for the pizza shop, I am going to do something like this: 10% off to people who came in off of Google Maps. And that way, people who say they came in off Google Maps, it also kind of verifies to me that Google Maps is working, even though I can read my stats off of my Google Maps. I'll show you how to do that later. But it's also just really nice to know, because if everyone's coming in and everybody wants their 10% off, it's working, right? And then you can get really creative and have a lot of fun with some extra places that you could do these free promotions through Google. So it's totally insane how fabulous this is. So have some fun with that. And there you have it. That's basically how you would use the 9-step formula if you were a pretend pizza shop, or if you are a pizza shop. But this is how you would use the 9-step formula. You go through it one at a time. You fill it in with your absolute best answers. And like I said, don't worry, you can always go in and change things at a later date. But if you follow this formula, you are definitely hitting some very powerful marketing points that are going to make your target audience fall in love with you and want to check you out and want to work with you. And that's always a fabulous thing. So very powerful. Don't just use it for this. Try this formula with other places that you're doing marketing as well. All right, now it's time to see how it all comes together. So this is what we've got for our pretend pizza shop. Known as the community pizza restaurant with heart, Pizza Paradiso has been family owned and locally operated since 1984. With over 2,000 five-star reviews, we have become one of Bronte neighborhood's top choices for quality, fresh, and locally sourced ingredient premium pizzerias. Try out one of our ethnic-themed Greek or Polish creations, organic vegetarian or vegan choices, or call ahead so we can prepare a first-class family bundle meal your family's taste buds won't soon forget. Say you saw it on Google Maps for an instant 10% off. And voila, there you go. That's how easy it could be to put something so powerful together once you follow all of those preparation steps. So this is great. So by this point, you guys should know exactly what categories you're going to be under. You should have a killer Google My Business description. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to learn where to actually put these things inside of Google My Business. All right, so I will see you on the next lesson. Okay, so we're not going to waste any time. We want you up and running as quickly as possible. So we're going to just dive in. The very first step is to go to business.google.com. Okay, and depending on whether you've ever set up your Google My Business account before or somebody has set it up for you or whatever, you might see something different. If you're not logged into Google already, then of course it'll prompt you. But otherwise, most of you should probably see something like this. And then all you want to do is manage your business. So the first screen you're going to see is this one here, and it's going to ask you for your business name. So you're going to start typing your name in, and let's pretend my business is called ABCs of Social Media. So as I'm typing it in, see the options that come out below, and basically what Google is doing is just verifying that your business isn't already on Google Business or isn't already on Google Maps. Because what happens is sometimes people can create accounts for business names. So you might already be on there. And if you are, all you need to do is claim your business if you aren't already managing it. So, but chances are, if you've got a brand new business, chances are it won't be on here. Okay, so it says create a business with this name because it's not already existing in Google Maps. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click this. Your business category is one of, if not the most important thing that is going to help you rank. So you definitely want to get this right. So what you're going to do is add in the business category that you discovered on the lesson on business categories. And so I'm going to go ahead and just pretend that my category is internet marketing. So you add that in and then go ahead and click next. On this screen, if you have a location that customers can come in and visit you at, or you could service them at, go ahead and click yes. Otherwise, if you're a service-based business that goes out to your client or customer sites, then go ahead and choose no. And it says, where do you serve customers? So as we went over earlier, this is called your service area. For now, enter the city you're in. So let me just put in Toronto, Ontario. Now what you want to remember about service area is this is all about local SEO. So what you're going to do is only go out about a 2-hour drive from your location. So I live near Toronto. So what I'm going to do is put down Toronto, and then I'm going to list some cities that are around Toronto, like Etobicoke and Mississauga and Woodbridge, and off to the east, like even Whitby and Pickering and all of those areas, because those are all within a 2-hour. If I was like right in Toronto, those are about a 2-hour drive within Toronto. So that way I could say I service all of those areas. Now, this isn't necessarily a ranking factor. But this is good for customers to know as to what areas you are willing to travel to in order to offer service. And again, yes, you can do things remotely, but this again is all for local SEO, and Google just wants to know where realistically you can assist customers. So I'm just going to go ahead and just keep Toronto there for now, and then I'm going to come back later and add a few more cities that are around Toronto. So the rest of the information is pretty basic. So what you're going to do is choose your country, choose your phone number, enter that in here, and then you're going to enter your website, and then you're going to click next. Okay, and would you like alerts and notifications? Yes, definitely. Because one of the notification types that Google will send out is notifying you and asking you, for example, if there's a holiday, it'll ask you what your holiday hours are and remind you to go and update that on your profile. Okay, and here is where you're going to enter the address that you want Google to mail you postcard at. And see, it says right here that your address will be hidden from the public, and this is just for Google's use. Okay, so enter your country, enter your street address. Okay, and then when you're done, you're just going to click next. Okay, so I haven't seen this before. This is new. Because basically what usually happens, as I mentioned earlier, is Google will gather your information, then send you a postcard with a verification code, which you will then come back to your Google business profile and enter that number. But it didn't do so in this case, and it might not on yours. So essentially, as I mentioned, sometimes these things change based on location, based on your information. So you're just going to have to go with it. So if at this point it asks you for a verification code to be entered in, it might give you the option of entering it by phone or by taking images to prove that you're the business owner. That's what you might get, or you might see something like this where you could go ahead and be verified right away. And essentially, if you're verified right away, it means that it will show your listing right away, which means you could go ahead and immediately complete your profile. So what we're going to do is stop here because some people might be waiting for that verification code. Okay, so if you actually get to a screen like I did where it says next, so go ahead, click that next button and fill out your basic information, but we're going to fill things out in more detail in upcoming lessons. Welcome back. Are you excited? I'm excited for you because now you have all the pieces to actually putting together an outrageously awesome Google My Business profile. All right, so what you want to do is type in business.google.com just like that, and you're going to be brought to a page that looks like this where Google's asking you to select the business you want to work with. Now, if you're still entering your verification code, you're actually going to get prompted to add your verification code, so you can go ahead and do that, and then it'll take you to another page, which is the back end of Google My Business, which is going to look like this. However, if you've already entered your verification code, you're going to see this screen and you're going to follow along from here. All right, so basically what we're going to do is from here, you could either click on your edit tool. When you click on your edit tool, it takes you to the business information portion of your listing. Okay, you could also click on your business name like that, or you could click on see your profile. So either one of those is going to get you in editing, and this here just gets you into the business information part of your listing. So we want to see all the options, so I'm going to go ahead and click on my business name, or I'm going to click on see your profile. And voila, from here you are going to see all of your options on the left hand side that you can select from. And on the right hand side, you're going to see what your business listing looks like on local searches. So if somebody types in your business name or comes across your business while doing a search, this is the profile part that they're going to see. So this is great. So you get like a little snapshot of what's going on and what people are looking at. Okay. Now, before we go into all the little things that you should be filling out in your profile and diving into that kind of things, I want to start with the most important parts of your profile. So we're going to hit the most important, hardest parts first, and then we're going to go into things that are a little bit more straightforward and a little bit easier. So as you know, the most important part on your profile is going to be the categories you choose. So in order to see your current category or to change your categories, you're going to click on Edit Profile. And under Edit Profile, you see how you have these other options. We're going to start with the About section, and let's see what I put. So my business name, like, is Communications, which I had changed, but if you ever want to change your business name, you just click on here, highlight it, and change it. So I still need to do that with my new business name. Then I picked the business category of Internet Marketing Service. So I want to go ahead and add some more categories. Okay, under description, this was the description that we came up with when we did the description part of the program, and then you've got some other things that we're going to look at filling out. But for now, what I want to do is just focus on this business category. Now, the other thing I want to really stress at this point is, depending on the business category or categories you select, you may see different options available to you as you complete your business profile. So one thing, for example, business category is related to services. Now, there are two very important things I want you to remember regarding your services and regarding your business category. One is you can go ahead and change your main category or your other categories at any time. So don't panic, and just know that you're not stuck with what you choose, okay? And the second thing to note is that if you don't see the service that you want offered, you could always request that Google add it under the category that you selected. So just keep that in mind. That'll make more sense in just a second. So let's have a look. So under business category, so my main business category, based on all that research I did, it would be Internet Marketing Service. And I'm going to go ahead and add my other categories. So to add other categories at this stage, you would just click on this. And the other marketing category I want to do is like a marketing agency. And my other category is marketing consultant. So I offer all these different services. So I'm going to go ahead, click all those categories, and I'm going to click on Save. Now, the great thing is that Google works pretty fast. So what it'll do is it shows you your edit is pending. It only takes up to 10 minutes. And then it's going to go ahead and show me the changes I made, which is really handy to have in case I, made a mistake or forgot what I entered or whatever. So this is all very handy. So I'm going to give this 10 minutes and I'm going to be right back. Okay, so we're back. And now under my business category, I could see the main category I chose and the two other categories that I wanted. So that's fantastic. So now we've got the categories right. Now what we want to do is look at the services section. This is very different than what it used to be. And to be honest, I'm not sure why they changed it so much. And I don't know if they'll change it again, but let's bear with it and let's see what happens. So we click under Edit Services. So what you're going to see is your primary category that you chose, and then what Google's going to do is recommend services. And the services are going to be based on the category that you chose. So what I'm a little uncomfortable with, and I'm not sure why, is it within a day it actually changed the options that I saw. Anyway, it depends on what people in your industry who are also choosing that same main category, what they're recommending and suggesting as well for the services that should be offered under that main category. So I think Google's just trying to streamline everything, but it makes our job a little bit trickier to work with. So what it allows you to do is add a custom service. Unfortunately, when you add a custom service, it could take up to a day or longer to get approved. Let me show you how to add a custom service. So if my main category is Internet Marketing Services and I offer a lot of things under Internet Marketing Services, as a custom service, I'm going to add the first service that's most important for me. And that, based on my keyword research, is going to be online course creation. So I'm going to add a custom service like that. And then I'm going to click on Save. And here it says your edit is pending review, and it could take up to 1 day to get published. So basically what you'll see is your main category, then the suggested service under that category that Google picked, then what you asked Google for. And then you're going to see your next category that you chose, and then the next category you chose, and you can add services under each of these categories. So let's go ahead and let's just start adding some things in. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is, if you don't like the service category that Google chose for you, which here in this case is telemarketing. I do not offer telemarketing. I don't even know why Google thinks telemarketing is under an internet marketing service. I guess it still is in some areas, but I don't offer it. So what you're going to do is click on that, what you don't want, and we're going to delete this as a service right here. So delete service. Okay, telemarketing will be removed from all categories. Yes, please. And then I'm going to hit delete. And there we go. Okay, so here is my main category and the first service under that category. Now I'm going to add more services. So one of the other things I offer that I really enjoy doing, that I really want people to know that I do, I'm going to go ahead and click on add a service, and I'm going to do a custom service again, and I'm going to type in Facebook advertising, because that's just a cool thing to do and get some really good results. So I'm going to add in Facebook advertising, and I'm going to click save. Okay, and now I can see it. So my main category, online course creation, Facebook advertising. So one of the other services I offer that, again, I enjoy and I want people to know I offer is content creation service. So what I'm going to do is add it up here to my first category. So I'm going to add my custom service, and I'm going to put down content creation. And I'm going to click on save. Under marketing consultant, services are a little bit different. So under marketing consultant, I'm going to do a little bit more keyword research to see what's trending under marketing consultant services. But marketing consultant, I personally like to deal with marketing strategy. So actually, let me just pretend that I did my research and that came up as a good keyword for that with good volume. So I'm going to add a custom service, and I'm going to say marketing strategy. So that's basically the only thing that I offer under that specific category of marketing consultant is my marketing strategy. So if you repeat some of these, that's okay under each of your categories, because people might find you under different categories. So if you offer the same sort of service, that's okay. You're just basically describing your services. Okay, and then I want to point out that if you scroll down a little bit on this options page, you're going to see the option to add another business category. So as you're going through and filling this out, if you decide, I really think that the specific service I want to offer really would fit under another category, then you would go ahead and just simply scroll down here and add another business category. And this kind of will become your work area. Now, before we move on, this is a very important tip. Remember how we did all that keyword research? And remember how we looked at the keywords based on the types of things that people are looking for your type of industry, and for services based on volume, are you going to pick this service or this service? Are you going to word it like this or like this? When we're discovering that with keywords, yes, it's to know the keywords that we want to use for Google ranking, but it's more important to use those words for customers. So I just want to point out that when you're doing this is a super important area, because you are letting Google know what you do based on your main categories and the services that you're saying that you offer within those categories. So Google can then do the match, but those keywords that you found aren't actually going to help you rank here. So if you're putting together in this area your service descriptions, for example, don't stuff it with those keywords, because it's not going to help. So just do it for that customer that's going to find you. So again, if you're offering, let's say you offer Excel, you help people learn how to do Excel. Are you going to say, teach Excel? Are you going to say learn Excel? Are you going to say Excel, Microsoft Excel services? How are you going to word that that's going to get you the most volume? Well, that's from your keyword research. So if you discovered that Excel services is got thousands and thousands of people looking for that, it means that there's a pain point. People really, that's what they're looking for when they need help with learning how to do Microsoft Excel. They look for, and it's not, by the way, I'm just using an example. So then when you're typing out, your service description, you're going to use the word Excel services. So let me now show you how to add in more information about your service, because adding in more information about the services you offer, attracting more people to those services, these are the things that are sending that algorithm in Google information that people like what you're talking about, and that they're clicking and choosing your business. And to be honest, not only do most businesses not even know how to access this area, especially with all these changes that Google just made, so you guys are right in the advanced thing, is that businesses, even if they know where this is and what to do, and even some of you might choose not to do it, and please don't be that person, because just think of all your competitors. If only like 1% or 5% are actually taking time to, because it does take time, as you can tell, but if that few are taking the time to do this well, you're the business that decides to take the time to highlight these services that you want to offer under your categories, and not only that, or make easier for people by describing those services in more detail, adding in your price ranges, giving people those extra details, and therefore people are clicking on your business to find out more and sending you emails or sending you text messages or calling your business based on this. Those are the triggers that are going to make a difference. So even though your keywords within that won't make a Google ranking difference, the results of what you get from people clicking on it, that's what's going to make the ranking difference for your business profile. So you definitely want to take time to do this next step. So let me just show you how. So remember how I said online course creation is right now the main service option that I want to let people know that I do and where I want to get business from. So under online course creation, I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, so here's my service name, online course creation. Price, so with price, I could put free, fixed price, or from price. So if I'm going to offer a price range, because especially with online course creation, the price of my service is really going to range depending on where people are. Well, depend on the services they want, because I don't know if you've tried to develop an online course, but there's a million different steps that go along with that. So I'm going to just say from, because there's not much within it that I could do for less than, let's say, I'm just going to put 500 for now. And then people know realistically what their minimum put down price should be for the specific service. And then for service description, you absolutely, again, want to fill this out with those trending keywords, because then you know that those are the words that people are using and people want to know. Now this is what I've come up with to start. I'm going to tweak it and add some more, trending keywords to it based on services that people want help with the most. But I put down online course creation services, so just a brief description, everything from course creation and development to marketing funnels and advertising. Whether you are stuck on what your course topic should be or want full course development and sales, we've got you covered. Please contact for a customized quotation. So basically, there's my call to action right there. I'm adding in the keywords of the pain points of what they're looking for. I'm adding in the types of services that I prefer to do within this service, and also just kind of giving them an idea of the type of people that I want to work with the most. And I'm still debating whether I want to offer services just to regular public people or if I want to offer services just to other marketing agencies. And I would definitely reword this based on that. But as you can see, now I've got a starting price point. And the good thing about putting your price point is you're setting up realistic expectations for people who are looking at your profile. And a lot of people just love to price shop. So if your starting price point is $500 and someone else's starting price point is $200 and someone else's price point is $10,000, you're going to attract the right category, because there's no way they can mess this up. It's very clear that, this is where I start. I won't even talk to people unless this is what's on the table, type of thing. And the person that's putting that, their starting price point is $10,000. It's a very different environment. And of course, their service description is definitely going to talk to those higher end elite people businesses, corporations, or whatever that can afford a starting price point at 10,000 and want a very different type of service based on that. Okay, so just make sure that your starting price point is competitive. It's all based on that research you've done. Look again at what your competitors are doing, and add in those keywords just to attract the right people to it. And when you're done, all you're going to do is click on save, and then you're going to go through and you're going to do that for all of the main services that you offer, so they're not left blank. And basically, that is how you add services, service descriptions, and price points to Google My Business. So again, you guys are way ahead of the game. So guys, jump on it. Get those service descriptions done. Get your price points done. Get these selections out there before everybody else comes along in your competitive industry and discovers that they should also be doing this. So take your time, put aside a few hours, make sure that this is done to the best of your ability, and monitor and check what happens. And we'll get into how to actually monitor your profile in an upcoming session. So I hope this was very, very helpful to you, and I will see you in the next lesson where we're going to actually go ahead and start filling out all those other things within your profile. All right, welcome to part 2 of the back end of your business profile listing. So what we're going to do now is flesh everything out and fill it all in. So let's do a quick recap. You've learned about your fabulous keywords. You've learned what your absolute best categories are. You have filled out an amazing stellar description. You have also filled out your services and service descriptions as well. So what's left? Well, we're going to add in some details. So let's go ahead and let's get started. But before we get into that, as always, I'm going to give you some very important tips to keep in mind that are going to help you rank better. The first tip I'm going to give you is I want you to be active on your account. So just because you're doing this work once doesn't mean that you're going to do the work and then set it and forget it. You're going to come back and you're going to constantly update your information, update your hours, your service hours, update your products, update your services, whatever it takes. Because if you're keeping your profile updated, these are little signals to Google that you are an active business that cares about your customers and what they see, and it's going to help you with your overall ranking. The other tip I'm going to give you is I want you to fill out everything that is offered to you. So if Google gives you an opportunity to fill out a spot, you're going to try your best to put something in that spot. Because again, the more detailed and full your profile is, not only is it great for Google signals, but it's also fabulous for your customers. All you're going to do is come back to your profile. So again, you can get there by going to business.google.com. And here are all your options. So basically, we're just going to go through all of your options and fill out anything that you haven't filled out yet. So start with editing your profile. So we've already went through the About section. The only parts of it that you need to fill out is your opening date, your phone number, your website. The only thing I'll bring your attention to is this short name right here. And so I chose the short name Fun with Marketing. And recently what's happened, this is the tail end of 2022 going on 2023. And the fabulous thing that's happened right now is YouTube has allowed people to use YouTube handles. So my YouTube handle, I changed it to match this. So my YouTube handle is Fun with Marketing, and my Google My Business short name is Fun with Marketing. So people could find me both ways. So I'm really happy that I got those because I like to think I make marketing fun. Hopefully you agree. Okay, so just go ahead, pick your short name and fill out the rest of your details. So what you're going to do is just keep scrolling down, and then you come to location and area. So it says no location deliveries and home services only. And that's basically just based because I said that I only offer services outside of my location. So if you're a storefront, this area is going to be different from you because you're going to let Google know that you offer services at your place of business. So these are the service areas that I chose, which are around Toronto, just areas that I wouldn't mind driving to. And Google tries to be really helpful, so it will offer suggestions. So have a look at this. So if you click on edit, under the areas, see how it says suggested service areas? So I could go ahead and add any of these areas in as well. Actually, I don't know where some of these, I'll just click on the ones that I want. Some of these I'm not quite sure where they are, so I'll just leave those alone. And then I'm going to click on save. Now, the other thing I want to add on about your locations that you chose that you want to service is it's a really good idea to mention these locations in other areas on the internet as well, or on Google My Business. So for example, if I service, let's say predominantly the Toronto area. So, and remember how we even broke that up. And if I was at Pizza Business, I would service very specific areas of Toronto. So if I was at Pizza Business and service those areas, as you saw in my description, I specifically talked to those specific areas. But then what I would do if I was at Pizza Owner is on my website, on the landing page on my website. So a landing page is the page where you're going to take people. So that could be your homepage of your website, but it could also be a special promotion you have, for example. So on those pages, you also want to specify again, where is that promotion? What areas is it going to be open to? Who are you targeting area-wise for that specific type of promotion? So you're going to mention it there. If you've got other online profiles, if you're doing social media, whatever, and you target specific neighborhoods and areas, all great places to mention them. All right. But especially throughout your Google My Business descriptions, your service descriptions, and on those website landing pages where you're taking people to, and that's mostly going to be your homepage. So you're going to go ahead and mention those areas in there. Now we're going to get to business hours. And so go ahead, just put in the business hours. Now remember, people on your profile can contact you by email, by phone. We'll get into how they can contact you by messenger as well. And of course, you don't want all these interruptions if you're not going to be on your business. So, I don't mind people contacting me on Saturdays so much, but maybe it'll come to a time where I do. So I could go ahead and change these hours to whenever I want to be available for customers, okay? And you can go ahead and do the same. And again, all you need to do is click the edit tool. And I just wanted to point out that Google is also really helpful at prompting you for hours. So if there's a holiday coming up, so here, for example, there's holiday hours, right? And this is when I say my business is closed, and or when I said my business was closed. And what Google does is if there's a holiday coming up, what it'll do is send you an email and just say, don't forget to let your customers know if you're open during this special thing that's coming up. And so I just want to put out, this is online service hours, and the hours up here are your business hours. So just so you know that there's two different areas, because now you could, for example, be a storefront and be open on certain hours only, but you might be available 24/7 if you have the right staff to be able to offer online customer service or online ordering services or something like that. So that's when those hours would be different. Now, Google has also come up with this really handy section where you could add more hours based on services you offer as part of your business. So for example, if you're a restaurant and you offer takeout services and you have very specific hours when takeout is available, you would click on that. Or let's say you do happy hour if you're a pub and you have happy hours every Thursday from 6 to 8 or whatever, then you click on happy hours and add in those hours, okay? So you can go ahead and have a look at that in a little bit more detail. So this section here under more is all about extra attributes, is what Google calls it, attributes of your business. So for me, I've identified as a woman-owned business because that was one of the selections that came up. Okay, crowd. So I put down that I'm LGBTQ friendly. Anybody from anywhere can come and I will offer my best service to anyone. And that one there, you basically just have to say yes or no. So are you or are you not? Planning, I put down that in my case, an appointment is not required, but you can go ahead and click on planning and you can put down that an appointment is required if it is for your business. All right, and then you've got service options. So I put down that I offer online appointments. So you could go ahead and just click there. And you could say, yes, you do offer online appointments or not, and have more of a look at that as well. And basically, so Google has nicely moved me through all of these different areas at the top, and now I'm completely filled out my business information. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that down. So that was all under edit profile. Then there's read reviews. So we won't worry about that right now. I'll show you how to ask for reviews. Then there's an option for messages, and basically you could turn on messages or not, and that'll show up on your profile if you'll accept messages from customers. Now please do not say you accept messages if you're not going to be available to check your messages, because that's not a good customer experience. So make sure you've got the staff available or yourself available that's going to get back to customers by messages. So just go ahead, you can click on that to have a look. So basically all it says is turn on chat, and then you would just click turn on chat if you're open and available for that. Next, we come up to the option where you can add photos. So you can add a photo from here or add a photo from here. Now the photos that you choose to use is also an area where you could really differentiate your business and really make it stand out. So here are some tips for you. All right, so my first tip for you is do not use stock photos. I know sometimes you need to, and I have as well, but as a temporary measure. But get creative. I mean, we all walk around with devices that take photos nowadays. So just get creative on the types of photos for your business to show how you really stand out. Okay, and getting creative is really big here. So you just want to use your imagination. Just think of things that really represent your business and things that will tell a story about your business. Okay, you can use images, you could also use videos, and just make sure they represent what you do. So if there are no words, can people look at that and understand what type of business you're in? To get some ideas, look at your competitor photos and see what they're using and see the order they're putting their photos in, or see if they're telling a story through their photos. Make sure that your photos are high quality and also close up. Do nice close-up images, nice sharp close-up images. And basically what you're doing is giving them a sense of you, you're giving them a sense of your company, you're giving a sense of what it would be like and what it would feel like to actually work with you. So if you think along those lines, you're definitely going to be able to get creative. So definitely you want to add an image of your logo. So that's pretty straightforward. Now for business photos, I just want you to know that Google recommends 720 pixels by 720 pixels. So that should be your dimensions to aim for. You also want to make sure that you add a cover image that best represents what you offer or do, because this is the image that people are going to see first when they come across your profile. I also really encourage you to add some videos. Your videos can be up to 30 seconds long, and videos are great because they're like showstoppers. It's like when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and all of a sudden there's a video and it just for a second just captures your eye because there's movement and it's something different and it's not a still photo. So if you could add videos every so often, that's really going to help, things to stand out when people are scrolling through your profile. Now, for those of you that are thinking, oh, I'm so in love with my stock photos, I don't want to take my own photos. Well, I'm going to help you get over that. I'm going to give you quite a few ideas to go ahead and get you started on the type of photos that you can take and add to your profile. So if you do trade shows, they're amazing places to take pictures of what you do, because usually when you're at a trade show, you have a banner, you're dressed up, hopefully, like in business gear, you are displaying on your table all the different things that you offer. So if you can get someone to take a picture of you standing behind your trade show booth, that is prime. I've actually got one of those images on, I use that as a banner image on my own profile. If you're on stage and you're speaking or you're teaching a group of people, get those pictures up on your Google My Business profile. Definitely going to help you stand out. Absolutely, you want to take product images. You want to take food images if you're in the food industry. Also take images of behind the scenes, sneak peek types things, or your staff at work as well. So just kind of mix it up. It's not always about you. If you've got contractors or staff, make it about them as well. If you're not on stage, take a picture of yourself teaching something on a whiteboard. Draw out a few points, point to it as if you're teaching, and get someone to take a picture of that for you. Or just go ahead and set the timer on your phone and take a picture of yourself. If you're doing a video shoot or a photo shoot, get someone to take a picture of the entire scene of that happening. If you were in the media, take a picture of that. If there's lineups to get into your store or an event you're hosting, absolutely take pictures of that. You want to take pictures of the neighborhood that you're representing because, again, it's all about local search, right? So if you're in a neighborhood people are going to recognize, or there's things in your community that really stand out, like if you're in Toronto, if you're near the CN Tower, right? People recognize these things. Take pictures of that. Take pictures of your storefront, or take pictures from the view you have from your office or your home office view or whatever, stuff like that. Take pictures of yourself volunteering. So in my profile, I have a picture of me, and I was doing a fundraiser to help save elephants in Africa. So I got a picture of myself doing that. Also take a picture of happy customers after they received a service, or even customers as they're receiving a service. So if you're coaching someone, have someone take a picture of that, or stage it and pretend you're coaching someone. If you like are a dentist and you're doing some teeth work on someone, take a picture of that. Make sure it's a happy looking picture though. and this is what you want to do, and this is how you get creative. So go ahead, put those creative hats on and get some great pictures on your profile. This is for your analytics. So I'm just pointing out now, and we'll go over it in upcoming lesson in a little bit more detail, but this is where you go to check your analytics. And basically what your analytics is basically your performance and how is your profile performing, and you can get all kinds of very helpful information through that. If you want to advertise with Google, you just simply go there because they like to make that nice and easy, of course. Okay, next is products. We're going to come back to that in just a second because I really want to spend some time on that. Okay, edit services we've already covered in the last lesson, so you're already a pro on that. Booking services, so let's go ahead and click on that. This area is fabulous. Thank you, Google, for offering it, because basically booking means that somebody wants to book in and have a meeting or a conversation with you. All you're going to do is add in a page to, let's say you have a calendar like Calendly. I'm probably saying that wrong, but Calendly or any of those online calendars, if you have one of those, or if your contact page shows people how to book in with you, or you have a form that people could book in with, then this is exactly where you're going to fill that out. And since we're here, again, if you want to edit, you just click on the edit key, and I'm going to go ahead and change that because I've got an online booking calendar now, and I want people to book in my booking calendar because it's very specific for when they can book and what the services that they're going to get when they book in with me. So I'm going to go ahead and change that. And if you have like 2 links or 3 links or something to different booking calendars, you can go ahead and add them in here. So with this calls, all it is Google's given you a feature that allows you to help track calls that you got off of your online Google My Business profile. Q&A, this is an area I gotta say I'm super happy with some of the changes that Google just made, and that Q&A is now here because it used to be available just on mobile, on your Google My Business mobile option. So questions and answers is very effective. You definitely want to use this. And the way I've always used it for my clients is I would say to my client, what's a service that people don't know you offer that you want to offer more of, or that's a profit maker for you? So for example, I was working with a dentist, and the dentist said, well, cosmetic dentistry, a lot of people don't know we offer that or don't ask for that service, and it does make us a lot of extra profit. And I said, great. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the question. So what I did is I typed in the question, and I basically said, does your dental office offer cosmetic dentistry, and what types of cosmetic dentistry can you do? And then I told the dentist to go answer the question, which he did. So now people, through reading the questions and answers, know that it's a service that they offer, and he's promoting it in a non-promotional way because all he's doing is simply answering a question that someone in the community had asked. So you are absolutely going to use this feature. So you're going to click on Q&A. No questions are currently available. Bad me. So what I'm going to do, there's no rules about you asking your own question, but it looks better if somebody else asks a question. So I'm not perfect. I'm sorry. I want you guys to use this feature, even though I am not. But on my client profiles, They all are. So, as you guys know, if you're a service-based business, sometimes you don't give yourself the best service that you can for yourself, but you always give your best service to your clients, right? So, here, hey, if you guys are watching this and you guys want to ask me a question, I'd really appreciate it. Now, what's really going to be helpful when you're doing this is if people who ask questions of you are asking questions that have your those keywords we talked about or those trending words we talked about, that's going to be helpful. So if again I want to, or any services you want to offer, so again if I offer like the content services, maybe people don't know I offer that, so I would say to somebody I know that's interested, it's like, hey, are you interested in knowing if I offer content services? Or if somebody asked me that question anyway or phoned me and said, do you offer this type of service? I'll be, that's a great question. Do you mind asking it on my Google My Business profile? And then I would send them in the link, and then they could go ahead and ask the question. And then I would go in as soon as you see those questions, you go in, you answer them immediately, because that again is a ranking signal when you get back to people right away, and it shows activity on your account so you can answer it. And remember, this is a really good highlight feature for your business as well. So you're going to definitely use it. Okay, just want to point out as well, if you click this, you get more options. Oops. So if you're looking at those last two options you see here and you're not wondering how I got it, it's just because I clicked this little arrow thing here. So there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to point out that you could also add an update, and we're going to come up to this in a little bit more detail in an upcoming lesson. But updates are where you could add some new information about your company if you want to highlight it. If you want to add a promotion, a new promotion, here I'll just quickly show you, or if you want an offer, or if you have an event coming up. And this is what I love about Google My Business, and which always shocked me that more people aren't using it, because basically you're advertising for free on Google. I don't know what else to say. Just if you can advertise, especially an event, if you guys are like coaches or authors or anything like that, you know that there are very few places you can advertise your event for free. Here is one of them. Absolutely, you want to be using this, okay? And basically, this is the button on how you can get a link to ask people to give you reviews, and we're going to go over reviews and the importance of reviews and how to get people to leave you a review in an upcoming lesson. So we're going to leave that for now. Okay, and then when you come down here, you're going to get a few more options. Some of them are duplicate to what's up here, but things like get a custom email, that's different. If you want a quick place to create an offer, you could do that through here instead of going through your ad update. Okay, getting reviews. So some of them are just duplicates. Don't worry about that, but you could just kind of browse through this and make sure that there is nothing on here that you don't want to miss. So now what I want to spend a little bit more time on is on how to actually add a product and what types of products you should add. So we're going to cover that in the next lesson. I love lessons that can teach you how to make money, and this is one of them, because we're gearing up to add products that people can actually buy. So in this lesson, you can learn about the types of products or services you can add under products, learn where products appear, and watch as I go ahead and create my own product for sale. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing to note is that with products, you can add physical products, virtual items such as online courses or software, or actually offer your services as a product. So if you're thinking that this lesson doesn't apply to you, it absolutely does. So please go ahead and watch how you could take advantage. So in order to edit or add a product, you're going to click over here where it says Edit Products, or you can scroll down here and you're going to click on the Add key under your product section. And no worries, no one else will be able to see this add option or space. Now perhaps you don't actually see a product option. And if you don't panic. It could be because of the category you chose. And if you chose a different category and don't see a product option, you might have an alternative option available by Google. So what you could do if you don't see anything that's suitable or anything that's like the product option, you could try changing your category if it's suitable for you. See if you can add products, and then make that call. Do you want to change the category to be able to have the products or not? But like I said, you might have an alternative option, especially if you're like a restaurant or even the retail business. You might have something else that'll fulfill the same need. So if you're a restaurant, maybe you see something that has to do with the menu options that you can add. Same thing as a product, so you can go ahead and use that instead if that's the best category for you. So first, before we move on, I just want to let you know that your products are only available on certain places. So these are the 3 I know of so far, and hopefully this will change as time goes on. So right now, if you do a Google search on your desktop computer for the business name and or business name plus the city that business is in, you're going to be able to see the products option on their profile. If you do a Google Maps search on your mobile device and search for the business or find the business on Maps, you can scroll down the listing and you'll see products option, or you might see something that says something like see what's in store, but it's all the products option. And also, if you do a search on your mobile device for the business name, you'll be able to scroll down and you'll see a products button option. So you might not automatically see the products appear, but you'll definitely be able to see a category button for products. So let's go ahead and see what this looks like on my profile. So if you're a user and typed in my business name and found me on Google, from the left, this is what you'll be able to see. So you'll be able to see my information, and then you'll be able to see my products. So right now, I'm going to add a third product with you, and it'll appear right actually first. So that's important to note too. When you add a product, the last product you added will appear first on your products list. So it's a good thing to know because it means that when you're adding your products, your most important product that you really want people to see first should be the last one you add. All right, so that's where your product section goes. And I just want to also just scroll down a bit so you can have a look at where your post section goes. So as you can tell, if people find you through Google searching and they see your profile come up like this, this really stands out. And the other part of it that really stands out is I'll show you, but when you're creating a product, you could put the product under a category and then your categories show up as well. So let me just show you this as an example in another business. So let's do a business we're all probably familiar with. So let's do Walmart. So I would type in Walmart and the city I'm currently in. Okay, and let's have a look at what Walmart did. So here's their review section, here's their ad they're running, and you scroll down, and here's their product section. So look how beautiful that is, because you could actually just start shopping just straight from their products. So I wanted to give you an example of what an active product section looks like for a business, so you can go ahead and get inspired, right? So of course, I would definitely encourage you to look up your competitor and see what they're doing in their product section. So let's just do one more. So let's just say I do Home Depot in Burlington, and let's see what Home Depot did. So Home Depot, right? Same sort of thing. Here are their products. Isn't that beautiful? And here are those categories I was talking about. So every time they're adding a product, they're creating different categories for the products to go under. So people could also quickly shop for products based by category. And look how easy that makes it for me as a customer. So if I'm looking specifically for lawn and garden and I want to get my lawn set up, I would just go ahead and click that category and the products under that category would appear for me. So it's almost like a free catalog that Google's allowing you to do. And like I said, it doesn't have to just do with products. You could add your services here like I did. And again, I want to point out that this will show up if people type in your business name and the city you're in, or sometimes just your business name if you don't have multiple locations. So they just type in your business name, they'll be able to get this listing and they'll be able to look at the products you added. So very, very important to note. And as you know, most people are going to be doing that search on mobile. So again, if they're doing a category search for your type of business and they come across your business and they hit that on mobile, you're going to get this beautiful outline if you have your Google Maps set up and if you have your product section set up, they're going to be able to see your outline, they'll be able to see your description, and they'll be able to have that products button that they can click on and discover exactly what kind of products you have. So definitely worth the time to go ahead and get your product section up. And as I said, as time goes on, Google will hopefully show the products option available on desktop as well, but everyone does map search on their mobile device and searches on their mobile for the most part. So as long as you appear great on mobile with your products, definitely worth the time to go ahead and do it. Now, because as you just learned, products is this beautiful dominant area on your Google My Business profile. And because of that, like always, I have some really important tips for you to get some extra business. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to use this section for your absolute best top products that you want to sell. Makes sense, right? You want people to have a look and go ahead and click and just make that purchase or inquiry or whatever. Just realize at a glance the scope of different types of products that you can offer. Okay. Second thing I want you to know is, as I already mentioned, but I'm going to mention it again, list your most important products that you want people to buy last, because the last ones you add are going to appear first on your profile page. And as always, remember, when you add something doesn't mean that you're going to stick to it forever, because you can go ahead and delete, you could add new things, and this is an area you absolutely want to keep updated. The other thing I want you to know is Google, for the most part, don't really have any over promotion rules. And because they don't have too many rules yet, may as well take advantage. So there's not going to be any harm in adding your product and then also adding a service description for the exact same thing, because the chances of somebody seeing both are going to be very slim. And even if they do, that's okay. Hopefully it's something they're very interested in. But for the most part, people are going to see one or the other. So you may as well just take advantage and just put them in both places. And we covered how to do service descriptions in part 1 of the back end of your profile. So you could go back and review that lesson if needed. But all I'm saying is put them in both places, get that extra promotional boost. And the one thing, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but the one thing I want to mention about your service descriptions is that your service descriptions that you did won't appear prominently on your profile unless people do a very specific search for that service, and then it may or may not appear. But if it does appear, it'll be a highlighted service section in your profile, because Google's trying to be helpful and match what people are searching for to what you've indicated that you're listing. So definitely still worth doing the time to fill it out. And like I said, fill it out there and fill it out here as well. And as you can see, I mean, what I love about the product section, it's almost like creating a mini ad. You get to put in a visual, you get to put in a description, you get to put in a call to action button. So definitely take advantage. This is incredible stuff, guys. It's free advertising on Google. So when you're creating your product, here are some things that you need to know. 1, your image size should be 1200 by 900. Next, like anywhere you're posting anything about your business, you really should use an eye-catching title and a headline that's going to just, show people exactly what they're going to get, exactly what their outcome's going to be when they've got it. Okay, you're going to use a high quality image here. Don't get blurry shots in there because people will just scroll off. Also, don't be shy about what you want to promote. Put together special offers or special pricing promotions or just something to get people in and get people starting to work with you. Also, as I mentioned before, this is an area you constantly want to keep updated, especially if your product lines change or the seasons change or your pricing changes or you're offering special holiday promotions, anything like that. And the final tip is Google gives you an opportunity to add a call to action for every product you list. You can skip that option, but do not. Go ahead, add that call to action for every single product. So now that you know how to create a product and all these wonderful tips around that, let's go ahead and see this in action. So what you're going to do is either hit edit product, and from there you would just add a product, and that takes you to this exact space here. You could just hit this button and save one step. So you just click on add and it'll take you to the section where you can add a product. So the first thing you're going to do is give your product a name. So I'm going to pretend I'm selling my virtual assistant marketing services. Then I'm going to select a category. Now, if I haven't made a category before, then there's going to be nothing here, and I'm going to have a chance to create one. Okay, so these are two of the things that I had done before. So I want to actually create a new category. So for this product category, I'm going to call it marketing services. And again, you can call it whatever you want. Just remember that to make it easy for your customers, you want to make sure that your categories are reflective of the different types of services they can get, and that the products you create fit nicely under those categories. So in this section here, it's going to ask for a product price. So you could put a price in, just don't add a dollar sign, just add it in directly. Or you could say show price range. So I'm going to show a price range, and I'm going to put minimum price because my marketing VA services were starting at $60 an hour. I'm going to change that. I'm actually changing this whole thing. So the minimum people could hire me for is 1 day. And anybody else out there who does any type of service-based business, you know, maybe you want to try that as well, because there's not a lot you could do in only an hour. And what I believe in is that you should only offer services that are going to showcase your best work and your ability and make a difference in that person's life and or business, I should say. But I mean, obviously the more hours you work on something, the better impact you're going to have on that customer. So why would you want to do anything that doesn't have a big impact? So I've done hourly services for customers, and you're just basically band-aiding or fixing things, and it's not helping the customer a lot, and that's definitely not reflecting well on you and the services you're able to offer. So I hope that piece of advice helps a lot of you guys who are listening to it, but this is definitely the way I'm trending now. I'm no longer offering these per hour services. It's just not benefiting me on any level. So, but for now, for showcase, for when I'm showcasing you guys, if I'm offering hourly services, my minimum price is going to be $60 an hour. That's what I started at. And maximum price I'm not going to put because there's no maximum price, because they can hire me for as many hours as they want. Now for product description, this is what I came up with. So, do you need marketing help fast? We help through digital and online marketing services in a wide range of categories. It's like having your own marketing team for a day, week, or more. Do you need help getting started with an online course? Do you need a funnel or lead generation? Do you want help improving your SEO so you can get more organic traffic? Whatever the online marketing mission, we're up for the challenge. That's what I came up with. If you guys want to model some of that wording, oh, by all means, please do. Anything that'll help you guys get some business in, okay? Just don't copy it word for word, of course, because, you know, we don't want duplicate copy out there ever on anything. But if there's something in there that you like the way it's worded, please go ahead and model it for your own business. Now, this is your call to action button. So absolutely, you're going to pick a call to action button, and you're going to take it back to that website page that you want to take them to. These are your options. So order online, buy, learn more, get offer. I know just from all the Facebook ads that I've ever done that the learn more option almost always converts higher than anything else, because I think it's because it's like safe, because people are like, oh, I want to know more about that. They're not ready to buy. I think some people are just scared that if they hit anything that says buy, it's going to somehow automatically make a purchase for them. And, you know, that obviously they don't want that. People are going to need a little bit more information usually before they make a buying decision. So I think learn more, people are just more comfortable with that. So again, with all my years of advertising experience, that's what I found anyway. It's always the safe option to do. Now, in this case, I could also, because I'm offering an hourly service, I could also just go with order online. And because I'm not really going to offer marketing per hour anymore, but if I were, even if I do per hour VA marketing services, I can only handle so many clients because it's just me and some of my contractors. So I'm not interested in getting a lot of business off this, and I'm not going to heavily promote it. So I might actually go with order online, because it's going to weed out the people who just want more information just for the heck of it so they can price compare or whatever. And I'm going to go with the people that are ready to order online. So it's just more, you know, I'll get less people, but I'll get more serious people if I do that. And obviously if I pick buy, I'll get even more serious people, because they're like, oh yes, please just tell me, give me the thing so I could just buy it, which is really great too. So I'm just gonna put an order online for that. So the link for your button, basically what you want to do for the link is take them to the landing page. This is not where you want to take them to your homepage and then have them figure out where they need to go to get that product that you just sold them on, right? You just take them directly to the information they need. So you absolutely, if you're creating an actual product, unless you're a retailer and it's just one of a many category products, you could take them to that category page, maybe something like that. But for anybody offering a service-based business, if you're taking them to a very specific packaged product, make sure you have a very specific landing page for that. So in this case, I'm going to take them to a landing page that I created that just talks about VA services, lets them know exactly the types of services that they can order, and it actually has a full checkout area right on the page. So let me just go get that. Okay, so there's the link for my specific landing page that I want people to go to. Now we've only got one thing left to do, and that's selecting a photo. So what I did is I created my photo in Canva, and if you guys haven't heard of Canva, I'm sure you have, but Canva, anyway, from what I've seen, I've tried many, 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 many tools to develop graphics, and Canva by far is the simplest and the best, and everything's right in there. So love, love, love Canva, and this is what I made in Canva. Okay, and there's the image I created. So it has my starting price, it has my product description with the keywords I found that people are looking for. It has a very specific landing page, a very specific call to action, and pretty much, and I gave it a really good category so people, again, who see my categories when they look at my profile can go ahead and just click on the category. And then ideally what I want to do is offer different types of services that people could purchase as products under my various categories. And that's it. So all that's left to do is publish. Oh, and look at that. I actually do have to enter a maximum price. But for something like this, for if I were still offering hourly services, I definitely wouldn't want people to hire me for too long with hourly services, because the reason I did hourly services is so I could get different types of marketing work and just kind of, help me keep up to date and having fun with different types of marketing challenges. So I'm just going to put in a price as if they hired me at that rate I was doing when I did hourly services. If they were hiring me per day, it'd be $480 for an 8-hour day. Now let's see if we could publish. There, your product is being added. It could take up to 30 minutes. I'm like, only 30 minutes? That's okay. It's going to be up the same day. I'm very happy about it. If I want to see my products, or if I'm inspired and want to keep going, I can add my next product too and just keep going. So if I click on see my products, there we go. So remember I said the last thing I enter is the first thing that people see. So that's how it looks. And there's my price range. Beautiful, right? And as I want to mention to all you online course creators out there, you could definitely add, I got to change that image, so just ignore it. But, add your online courses. Add your online courses, guys. This is a fabulous spot to add your online courses. And not only that, just get creative. It doesn't matter what type of business you have. You can absolutely package up a product to put under this section. So I definitely want you guys to get creative. I definitely want you guys to put something amazing together. I want you guys to make some sales, and I want you guys to tell me about the sales you make. I want you guys to come back, leave me some comments, and brag about any types of sales you got off of doing this, okay? Because I really, really want to know. So that's it. So that's your whole lesson on product. It's a wrap. And now, as exciting as this was, and I got you all pumped, the next lesson is going to be on how to create posts and how you can also use your posts as mini ads in a prominent location to grab people's attention. All right, so meet me in the next lesson. In this lesson, we're going to cover posts. With Google Posts, the good thing about it is you could be a little bit more promotional. Now, on social media posts, as we know, it's bad to be overly promotional. People don't like that. People want you to be more social. But Google My Business is the place to be promotional. Because remember, when people go to Google Maps, it's because they're actively looking for service. So this I always like to think of as a free Google ad. And who doesn't like that? Because I've done Google ads and they can be super, super expensive. So if you can get Google showing and promoting your business for no charge to you, take advantage. Like, I am shocked by the amount of businesses that aren't using this. And I know a lot of people just don't know how, but this is like, honestly, if I could choose doing this over doing social media, I'd almost lean to this, because people do look at these things, and it's a fabulous way to promote either your service, your product, even if you have an upcoming event. So listen, guys, if you guys are coaches or speakers or anything like that, and you've got events coming up, this is your tool. This is one of the places that you can advertise your event for free, no charge. So absolutely you want to get on that. So let's have some fun with this and find out how to do that, okay? So for this, so going back into business.google.com, and for this account, I opened up one of my client accounts. So I just want to show you what we've been doing for his post. So this client here is an accountant. Well, he's a bookkeeper with some accounting credentials. And basically, so his whole marketing premise is he could offer a lot of accounting services, but at a fraction of the cost. So sometimes I try to play on that when I do his posts. Now, here is a post example. So this one I just did. Oh, look at that. It was just posted 15 hours ago. So what I do is I just kind of remind people about what he does, answers any questions they might have, and then always a call to action. So if they press call now, from their cell phones, it will actually dial. Like, how amazing is that, right? The other thing I always do, and which is always a very good practice, is within your words, you want to, again, add your location keywords. So I always put in something that's like, I offer services in these proximities, or sometimes I just pick one because I don't want to overdo anything, right? Google doesn't like it when you overdo anything. So, but this is a really good area to put in those services that you want to stand out and dominate business for, pretty much. And this is where you would put that. Okay. So what we do is once a week is I'm going in and I'm just changing up the words and the services I'm promoting, and then I'm looking at how many people are viewing it. Now, I know you're probably saying, well, the views aren't very high, and it's true, because this client, literally, I'm only posting stuff for him on Google My Business, which is great, and as a start, and you guys all should be doing it. But remember I said it's also really important to keep up SEO best practices and do other things that Google is going to recognize and pretty much verify that you're a prominent and a relevant business. And some of the ways you need to do this by your website. And unfortunately, this client is not spending any time on his website at all, and it's not a exceptionally attractive or user-friendly website. He's not doing any SEO at all, so there's no links coming into his site. He's not putting out content. He's not doing any social media activities at all. So, Google is still showing him, and he's still getting, with just doing posts, he's literally getting about, I'll show you the insights. So he's getting visitors to his website, and he's also getting people directly calling him and pressing call now for literally. And the other thing with this post too, sorry, this client here, I'm not doing it weekly. I'm doing it bi-weekly, so only every 2 weeks. So you can imagine, even if he's getting some results off only doing posts every 2 weeks, okay, can you imagine if he did post once a week? And can you imagine if he did all those other things and was working on getting in more reviews and was working on getting in more SEO? Can you imagine how much better this could be, right? The other thing, remember I said Google doesn't really like stock photos? I've been using stock photos on these, haven't yet got in trouble. But if you have, people want to see you and want to see your store, want to see, we're very limited on what we could do with bookkeeping, but at least with the stock photos, try to get them to not look too stock photo-ish, I guess would be a good rule to follow, and just make sure they're nice and prominent and attractive. Okay, so that in a nutshell is how to do a post. Let's look at how to create one. So essentially, I already posted this week. So essentially, Google will allow you to do one post every 7 days. So I can't have two posts going, so I can't do another post. So I don't have an option to create a post right now. But all you would do is click on the create post option, and then you would just upload your image, type in your words, and add a call to action button. And if you want people to call you directly, go ahead and add the call now, or you could get them to email you, or you could get them to visit a URL. So if you want people, like let's say you were doing it so people would visit an online course you have, then you would call the action would be like, I have this amazing online course, it's on promotion right now for a special deal, go check it out. And then they would, and of course you'd make it sound better than that, just off the top of my head, and then you would add the URL and people could click and they would be taken right to the URL. So pretty easy stuff. Now this is where it gets really cool, is you can add an event. So you just go ahead and click add an event, and you can put your event title, your event start and end date, and details about your event, and put in a nice attractive event photo. Like, isn't that completely amazing? Let's say you're doing an offer. So Black Friday is coming up. So let's say that your offer title, I would say something like Black Friday 50% off sale, or just something to get people's attention. 1 day only sale. Put in the start date and the end date, which would be 1 day, and then you would put in a nice attractive photo here that represents what you're selling and what you're offering at this blowout sale, right? If you want to add in some of your products, then you would go here, and again, you would start off with a picture. So it's worth investing the time to get really high quality pictures of you in your business, you interacting with customers, of your different products or things that represent your products. And of course, if you sell physical products, that's so much easier for you. The other good thing is if let's say you're a speaker or another authority figure, another good thing to do is, if you can do it, is when you're on stage, get those pictures, because pictures of people on stage, like, no one's going to argue with you being an authority in your industry if they see you up on stage. Just saying. So really good to have those pictures and videos in here. Well, actually, pictures in here and videos in your Google My Business. Okay, and that basically, in a nutshell, is how you do a post on Google My Business. So everybody get on it. Everybody get your posts out there. Oh, and let me just show you just very quickly on Maps. I just want to show you where your posts appear. And do this yourself, because this is absolutely insane. So remember I said posting is almost like a free advertisement you get from Google. Okay. Just play around with Google Maps, enter your competitor, like enter your niche, and you'll be super surprised how few people are actually posting. Okay, so here again was a client we were just looking at, and here, see where it says from the owner, and then this is basically the post we just did, and there's the call now button, so people could click on that and boom, they call him. How sweet is that, right? Nice, easy peasy. So people would just click on it to open it, read the information, and click call now. Love it, love it. So again, you should definitely use this, and you will use it, because now I'm sure that you have got some ideas, and you could see hopefully the possibilities of what you can do to promote your own business on Google My Business. So definitely have a ton of fun with that. Remember, every 7 days, I literally grab, for my clients anyway, I grab a calendar and literally I do a GMB, Google My Business post. And then 7 days later, I go and I write it again. And I write it. So every like Friday or every Monday or whatever it turns out being, you're not going to forget to add your brand new post up. I mean, Google's giving the opportunity to leave it live for 7 days. Take advantage and go do it. So you guys have some fun with that. And let's move on to the next lesson. So finally, we're going to end with looking at reviews, because reviews is so, so important. So just think about it like when you are trying somebody out for the first time, or business out for the first time, or a product out for the first time, almost everybody will go to reviews, right? And, I like to sort my reviews. So I look at how many 5-star reviews they are, and then I'll look at the worst review and see what that person said. But regardless, people love reading reviews before they make that purchase decision, especially if they'll be spending a little bit of money or quite a bit of money in order to get that product or service. So reviews, very critically important. Now, to make it easy to remind you to ask for reviews, because I've been at fault at that as well, where sometimes you just forget. You're so caught up in the moment of doing a great job for a client and you forget to ask them for a review. Is now what I do is I make it part of my offboarding process. So I don't know if offboarding process is an actual technical term for it, but basically, and if you don't have an offboarding process, create an offboarding process. An offboarding process, could include you. Obviously, you should be thanking that person for working with you. Could be you handing your things back to them or their accounts back to them, getting them to do their sign-offs. And then as part of the offboarding process, you're just going to email them and just ask, if you're happy with our services, could you please consider leaving us a review? That's simple. And sometimes that's all it takes. Now, what you also definitely want to do is add a link to where they can leave a review for you. And the reason you want to add a link is because anytime you ask somebody to take an action for you, it is going to be so much more likely that they'll actually do it if you make it easy for them. So you're going to go ahead and give them a link on how to leave your review. So let me just show you what that looks like. So all you're going to do is come over here to your profile options, click that down arrow to bring up some more options, and see where it says ask for reviews. Go ahead and click that. And then you're going to come over here and it gives you your direct review link. So you're going to click to copy. And let me just show you what happens when people add that link. So you're going to just open a new tab, paste that link in, and see how it automatically pops up with that review box. So that literally makes it so super simple for people to leave your reviews. So then they could go ahead and click your 5-star review, and then they're going to share some information about what they liked and feedback. And then as a plus, maybe they'll add some photos as well. So if you did something for them that they could showcase, that would be a bonus. All right. And then you're going to just click on post, or they'll just click on post. And there you have it. That's it. And that's how easy it can be to share an area where people can leave you reviews. So one thing I want you to know that's really, really important is against Google's policies to offer an incentive in order for somebody to leave you a review. So that would look like, for example, if you're like, hey, leave me a review and you get 10% off, or promise leave me a review after your services and I'll give you this free bonus. You're not actually allowed to do anything like that. So once again, it's just that simple request. Just, if you love what I did, leave me a review. That way you're not breaking any of Google's policies. And if people love your services, they'll genuinely want to leave your review. The other tip I want to give you is that if you know for sure someone's going to leave you a review, it's a really good idea to prompt them on how to leave it for you. So by that, I find I get much better reviews if I say to the person, in your review, could you please add the type of service that you received? And could you also please let people know how that's either changed your life or it's changed your business or gotten you results? If they could put an exact number to that, like it raised my business profits by 42% or whatever, things like that look amazing on reviews. So just think about it when you're reading reviews and someone's like, yeah, great person, great product, fantastic, loved it all, emoji, 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 whatever. You're like, okay, that may or may not be spam. Kind of trust it, maybe not. But if someone left a review and she was like, I use this person for this, and this is exactly the service I got, it's exactly what I got out of it, like just think about how much more powerful that is. So if you know someone's leaving you a review, just make sure you give them that prompt ahead of time. Sometimes I've been known, because it works, again, make things easy for people. So sometimes what I've done in the past is I've taken, another review and would say to the person, if I knew they were going to leave a review, it's like, oh, maybe this will help you with some of the wording you want to use in your own review. Or here's just a little bit of information on what you might want to include in your review. And then people, they'll get it done fast. I mean, the easier you make it, I've gotten reviews back immediately as soon as people have received them, when I've just helped them out with those sorts of prompts. Okay. You don't want to write it for them, obviously. That's probably against Google policies too, even though I don't think they officially state that, but you definitely want to make it easy for them. And for those of you wondering, the answer is yes. Yes, for sure, positive reviews will absolutely help with your Google rankings. Okay, so here are just a few other ways that you can get reviews. So you can send a thank you card or an email to your customer with a review request. Or likewise, you could send text messages or a messenger message as long as you include that link and make it easy for them, and they can click and leave your review. You could also, in your follow-up meeting or your follow-up call, and if you're not doing follow-ups are really, really powerful. And what you want to do, so here's another little trick. What you want to do when you call somebody to follow up with them is, first of all, you sincerely want to know how they're doing, but you want to remind them how fabulous it was to work with you. So remind them of what you did, remind them of something they might have said, and just like, I'm just following up. Do you need any help? Do you need any extra assistance? Do you need any reminders of what we covered? Can I send you anything else? Oh, here is a free resource for you, by the way. Whatever, just keep it positive, keep it hyped up. And then when they're happy and they're excited and they're reminded of how fabulous you are, then you're going to be like, oh, by the way, could you please leave me a review? I'll send you the link right now, and then boom, send that link over to them. Okay. Same thing as I mentioned, if you're delivering a presentation or training session or anything like that, ask people to leave you a review, especially if they loved it. So other things you could do is if you have customers with storefronts, so, flower shops or restaurants or clothing stores or whatever, you can recommend that they create a sign, and on the sign, it basically just says, loved our service today. Please consider leaving us a Google review, or condense that a little bit as a little too wordy for a sign. But you'd be amazed. And when people see that, they're like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. I should definitely leave a Google review here, and they'll leave a Google review. Okay. Oh, and I want to add that if you do a sign, a really good thing to do is to add a QR code that links directly to your Google review, because as I said, if you make it easier for people, more likely they're going to take action. And my final tip for you is to absolutely reply to all of your reviews. First of all, it's great customer service. Second of all, it looks really amazing for people, looking to see how you treat others as a business. It shows professionalism, all kinds of fabulous stuff. And also, I want you to, I know some of you might not agree, but I want you to all reply to bad reviews. Very important, especially to reply to bad reviews, because first of all, again, it shows your professionalism. And a lot of times with bad reviews, it's because of a misunderstanding or something that's an easy fix. So especially if it was your fault, or there's something you could have done better or whatever, mention it and just publicly respond, and then publicly let that person know what you're going to do to remedy the situation. Because what they can do is then come back and they could change the review to a positive review, and they could change it to a 5-star review. So you can go from a 1-star to a 5-star review if you take the right steps. Now, the other thing I will mention in regards to that is sometimes, because not everyone's nice in this world, sometimes maybe a competitor, maybe someone who's jealous, maybe someone who just likes to cause ruckus will go into your profile and they will leave a bad review for no reason at all, or just, again, because they just don't want you to do as well, whatever. So what you want to do with those reviews is, if you legitimately don't recognize that person as a client, then they've said they worked with you, what you're going to do is flag it. And it could take a while. Sometimes, it does take a little bit of work because you have to explain yourself and everything. but Google will look into it. And every instance I've ever had of that happening to one of my clients, every instance of that has always been cleared up. But until it's cleared up, that negative review, that's a false review or a bad review or illegitimate review, whatever, is going to be on a profile. So while it's there, you're still going to address it. And you, again, just be professional about it and just say, thank you for taking time to leave this comment. However, we don't seem to have you as a customer in our records. Perhaps you got the wrong business, or perhaps you want to, just, I don't know, just let them know that you caught them, but do it professionally and nicely. The last thing you want to do is, what the, don't do the what the whatever. Don't do anything like that. Okay. So keep it professional, address it. Anybody reading your response and reading the negative review would be like, oh, that's just probably somebody just causing a mess. It happens. And that's okay. And most people will just blow it off and just look at your 5-star reviews, which is the good news. And it is good that there is a way to flag it as well. So now on that note, I know you guys are going to go out and get fabulous reviews. I know you're going to offer fabulous services. I know people are going to love you and make it known in the world that you're just a fabulous business to work with. So in this lesson, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cover 3 things in this lesson because each of them are really quick, and these are just some additional tips that are really, really going to help you. Okay, so for the first one, let's pretend we're doing a Google search here, restaurants. Let's pretend we're looking for a restaurant in our area. So here again, top 3, right? And then you have this option to click for more places. So let's just go ahead and do that. And what we're going to learn about is how to ask and answer questions on Google My Business. And remember I said if Google offers something, take advantage of it because it's going to help you overall. Well, this question and answer thing is not only just good for Google, but it's really good for you, and it's really good for your customers. So when I'm setting this up for my customers, what I usually do is find out what they want to promote, and then we create a question on it. And yes, you can ask your own question and answer it yourself. I don't know if you should, but why not? So I guess it would be better if you had a friend or family member or just somebody else with a different Google account to ask a question if you can, but make it sound like a legit question. And do a question that people usually wonder about your space, or again, about something you want to promote. So for example, with my dentist, I asked him what he wanted to promote, and he said not a lot of people knew he did cosmetic dentistry, but of course it's a service that makes him a lot of money, so he wants to get it out there more. So what I did is I just simply went into Google and I asked that question, do you offer cosmetic surgery? And then I made him answer it. And then basically when people are looking at that, or they're looking for cosmetic dentistry, whatever, he's going to get bumped up in the search results for that service, and people will also see it in his profile. So let's have a look. Restaurants are a lot of time all over Google My Business. So let's have a look at some restaurants to see how they took advantage of that. So let's see. Let's start near the top. Let's look at this thing called Chuggies. This restaurant, and here, see the section here, so it's right near the top, and it's questions and answers. What is the Thursday special? And they answered it. So that goes ahead and gives you another opportunity, like I said, to promote something. So what is a Thursday special? And they're like, well, Thursdays is this, Fridays is fish and chips, whatever. So they took the time to really give that a thorough response. So not only are they answering the question, but they're kind of promoting their other specials, which is a smart thing to do. Because again, you can get a little bit more promotional on Google My Business, and Google allows you to, so why not, right? Okay, so if you want to ask a question, you would just click on ask a question, and then I come over here and literally I would just type the question, and once it's typed I click on post, and then the question is publicly posted. Now this is another reason you should really stay on top of your Google My Business account, because anybody can ask a question, and the last thing you want is somebody who asks a question and is just kind of left hanging, or worse, one of your competitors ask a question because anybody could post a question, and it's a question that won't be helpful to you. You know what I mean? So we just kind of want to be on top of it all the time and see what's coming in. All right, and that essentially in a nutshell is how to ask a question. Now, you may be living in an area where this feature is not yet available on desktop. If that's the case, that's okay. You probably still have it. Just go log into your Google My Business on your mobile device, and then you should be able to have that option from your mobile device as well, okay? So there's one thing I wanted to show you. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to show you is this thing called Insights. So back on the left here, Insights is basically an overview of how well your Google My Business post is doing. So again, with this client account, we're only posting twice a month and not really doing too much else on his file. But he's still, these are still the queries that are bringing people to his Google My Business page. So what you would use this for, obviously, is make sure you're coming up for the right things. And if you're not, then I would go back in and double check the categories you're listed under and your description and all of that wonderful and stuff and the services you chose to promote. But pretty much it's also good to know just how people in general always search for you. Okay, so that's pretty much what you would do with that section. Now, this section here, how customers search for your business, is always interesting. So the blue is discovery, and this is people who find your listing searching for a category of product or service. So like with this client, just from him being on Google My Business and people searching for bookkeeper or accountant, the majority people are discovering him doing that, which again is very sweet and very telling. Okay, this one here, where customers view your business on Google. So listings on Maps. So people who go into Maps, because remember, if you're in Maps, you have a search tool. So that's one way people can find you. They could just type in accountant, and Google will do its map thing, right, and find the local accountants. And this is listing on search. So I want to show you how powerful this is. This is within the last month. Again, we're not doing anything else for the client. He's not doing any other marketing activities. He literally just once every 2 weeks, I do a post and pop it up on Google My Business, and that is pretty much the extent of it. And look at this, 67 people have found his listing on search. Pretty cool, right? And that's all he did. And search is Google search. So just to make this more impactful, this is pretty much him appearing on the first page of Google without him doing any SEO or paying any money or doing anything else. So 67 people within a month, his name appeared in the Google search or Google organic search. I'm just saying, this really blows my mind why more people aren't doing this. So can you imagine his results again if he was doing SEO and social media and all those wonderful things and posting once a week instead of once every 2 weeks? And this is the actions people took. So 2 people this month visited his site. He got no calls this month. And that's okay. I mean, people are still going to his site. But like I said, there's no other activity going on. So you'll find that once you start reading your insights, with very little effort, oftentimes, you can start getting people to contact you. So if you want business, you definitely need to be all over this. Okay, and now there's one more thing I want to show you. So let's go back into Maps. Okay, and let me just say this time I want to find a local coffee place. So I'll type in coffee. Always a good thing to put in. So all my local coffee places come up, and then what I'm going to do is do this. Okay, and basically what happens is, let's say, and you guys have probably done this again if you've used Maps, but let's say you're meeting a friend for coffee and you want to share the address. So you click on share, and this link here is the Maps link. That's one way. So what you would do is copy the link and send it to your friend or whatever. So when you start sharing links back to your Google My Business, okay, Google again gives you reward points for that. And they're not really called reward points, but you get the idea, right? So you kind of get little points for doing that. So what you would do is copy the link, and then you would go ahead and you would share it with somebody. So you would look up your own business and the street address, copy the link, and let's say you have a client meeting, you just say, here's my address, and send them the Google link. Okay, and so there's one link you could share. Then there's something called embedded map. Okay, so here with embedded map, you would copy the HTML code, and your Google map should be on your first page, your home page of your website, and any other website you have, and again, any other time you could share it, because then when Google is looking at your website, you kind of again are getting rewards for promoting your location, and you're coming up higher on for local search, local SEO categories, simply by sharing your map's address. Now, this is one way to embed a map address. There's a more complicated way that we won't get into, but if you're interested in that, let me know. But this is kind of the simple way to do it. So you copy your iframe and put it on your website. Now, Google has updated the way to do that, so it may or may not let you, but this is the simple way. You literally are just copying that frame into the coding in your website, or hiring a coder to go ahead and do it for you, and then you should have a beautiful map appear on your website, which is always helpful to the customer, and again, helpful for you. Okay, and then the third way is just you want to share it again, and this time you could choose to share it on social media, and it's the same link, but you're sharing it another type of way, so Google is getting other signals for things coming back to your Google Maps listing, and that is always a bonus. Okay, so just some things to keep in mind, and altogether, again, they were just some extra tips of things you want to do that's really going to help with your Google ranking and help you outbeat your competitors on Google My Business. So go ahead, have some fun with that, and I will see you in the next lesson.